Okay, man, are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. Now, come on, now crank this motherfucker up.
Break it down like this.
Hello, Internet. Gino, that big Guido Greco here again with another episode of Deep Listens, and it's the spooky season once again. Halloween is upon us, and that means we played a scary game for the show. And like last year, we played another Silent Hill because somehow 2 Silent Hills came out back-to-back years, and both of them were well-made somehow. It's so rare that this happens to us, so we had to celebrate. We have played Silent Hill F. The F is lowercase, but it stands for fun. Joining me, as always, to discuss all things video games, Pete Busby. How you doing, Pete?
I'm doing good. This was an interesting one. I'm excited to see what everybody else thinks about it. But I do have a Halloween fun fact for spooky season.
Okay, what
This
do we got?
this fun fact comes from iLikeIllinois.com, so you know it's legit. So did you know that 85% of the world's canned pumpkin is canned in Morton, Illinois? Specifically at the Nestle USA Libby plant. Opened in 1925, the plant started exclusively processing pumpkins in 1970. And since then, they've just been killing it.
No competition, I bet.
Yeah,
Illinois,
I very
a
much doubt
machine
it.
for pumpkins.
Yes. Nestle USA Libby as the name of a facility is one of the most corporate names that I could imagine. It's horrifying in its own way, just like the pumpkins it produces.
And Illinois, you won't be surprised to hear, also grows the most pumpkins of any state in the U.S.
That is a little surprising because I lived there for a while and I had no idea of this reputation for growing pumpkins. They're not proud of it, I guess. They should be.
Yeah, I guess unless like you're exclusively in Morton at the moment, probably nobody cares.
Oh man, they got to do up their town real good for Halloween, right? Decoration-wise.
They do have an
Almost
annual
certainly.
pumpkin festival, which I mean, this is all just off their website, which includes over 30 special events organized.
I thought
by
you were going to
Morton
say
Pumpkin
pumpkins, and I was like, that's not a lot.
Very small amount of pumpkins.
Over 30 pumpkins.
So I actually, having lived near the Hudson River Valley, there's a town called Sleepy Hollow.
Oh yeah.
Does a real big pumpkin fest. Well, it does a real big Halloween for the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. But there's also a pumpkin fest up there. It's very good. They have a bunch of carved pumpkins and stuff. Displays, very big displays.
Also, I've been to the area, and it also is home to the world's largest kaleidoscope.
Morton, Illinois, or the Hudson River Valley?
No, the Hudson Valley.
Okay. Also joining us, you will notice you did not hear M's voice if you're familiar with the show. She unfortunately was not able to get far enough in Silent Hill F for this show. So he pulled in a ringer from the Off the Deep End podcast. Braden, ArbitraryWater, Redacted. How you doing, Braden?
Hello, Gino. I'm here, and I'm happy to talk about the terrible Silent Hill game I played recently. Of course, I'm referring to Silent Hill Downpour.
Yeah, let's go.
That game is fucking miserable,
It
dog.
sucks.
It is. If you think Silent Hill needed like less subtext or symbolism and just like grumpy prisoner man just going through a bunch of things where people are like, I'm a shitty cop.
If you ever wanted a Silent Hill game,
shitty Murphy.
a Silent Hill
He's
game
like,
that
"Oh,
almost had a cool point to say about like the justice system
Yeah.
being like bullshit and just like societally sanctioned revenge, and that's terrible. Play Downpour because they sure almost made that point and then chickened out at last fucking second because cops are cool, I think.
Yeah. and then the combat's really bad, and unlike Homecoming, it's not funny.
Yeah. If you're gonna be a bad Silent Hill game, you may as well be funny.
Yes, that is certainly true. And that other voice you hear, we're playing a Silent Hill game, which means we had to reach out to Jess, VoidBurger, O'Brien.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Good to be back. Good to be playing more good Silent Hill games against all odds, like you said earlier. It's been 20 years of not good Silent Hill games, basically.
And then we got 2 in a row.
What the hell? What the hell?
I'm
Remind
shocked
me
and
of-
terrified.
3 if you count the short message, which I do, and no one else does. No one else like that but me.
After when that web series came out.
Oh,
and
Ascension.
That
Which you
thing,
can watch on Tubi.
That
Really? It's
thing
on Tubi
was the
now.
most. We pitched this using the term metaverse over and over and over again.
Mm.
And then I just think people forgot about how surreal and bizarre and like possibly written by AI that whole thing was.
Here's the thing, like, I accused it of having been written by AI because, yeah, it's so total nonsense that barely makes sense, like, scene to scene. Like, it forgets what happened previous scene and stuff like that. And I think I also, like, made an accusation of being written by AI, the PC Gamer Show, like, semi-recently, because it was so unfunny and it sounded like ChatGPT, like how ChatGPT's humor is, like, really, really bad. Terrible sense of humor in that robot. And like I accused that thing of being AI written too, and like somebody was like, no, it was written by people. And I was like, okay, that's worse then, that you write
I'm
like
so
a bot.
sorry.
That sucks too. You didn't like get me on that one. You're just like, no, actually, it's something worse.
These people were not very good at it, but they were people
We have
nonetheless.
bad human writers. That sucks too.
So, Jess, if people wanted to find you on the internet or support you on the internet, where could they do so?
I'm on Blue Sky only. Twitter sucks, but I'm voidburger.com. I managed to do that fancy thing where you changed the end of your handle. It was kind of annoying to do. Voidburger.com on Blue Sky. You can also just go to voidburger.com and it's just like a link tree of all the stuff I do and the shit I'm at and yada yada. Patreon. Got a Patreon too. It's all Voidburger. Check it out.
Excellent. And our plugs for the show, if you wanted to get in touch with the show, you can do so. deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. That's our email address. deeplistens.libsyn.com. That's where you can find the show, and you can also hit up the comment section there. Also, we are on Blue Sky, deeplistenspodcast.bluesky.social. I have not updated it to use our main URL yet, but someday I will. Someday I'll spend that time. And you can support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. At the $1 tier, you get access to our Discord where you can talk to the hosts of the show. And other people also. Other people also are on there. It's surprisingly active. Not surprising. It's a vibrant community that's active. And then at the $3 tier, you get access to the OG Soncast in addition to the Discord. Pete, what are you covering on the OG Soncast next? Which anime?
Gino, this is a question I've been waiting to answer all day. I don't forget you're going to ask me every time we have an episode and have to vamp for a little while I look it up again. We are playing Excel Saga.
Oh, wow.
Based on the Microsoft spreadsheet program. I did ask.
Unfortunately.
I'm sure
Man, that would be
it's aged
hilarious.
really well.
I wish that it was based on Microsoft Excel and they gave them all little personalities. Oh, man. And
I don't know what pivot tables are. Somebody mentioned pivot tables at work, and I don't know what they are.
No.
It's a way for you to combine data across multiple tables. I don't do it very much, but I know about it. The most recent show was Planets, which should be up by the time you're hearing this. I really appreciate that you guys are covering a bunch of shows that are also on Tubi, so that people can watch along with you if you want. Okay, before we get to Silent Hill F, we usually do the Discord report, but I don't know if there's too much in there.
The Discord report, boop-a-doop.
Nice.
Well, Zombie Pie, he did another bad food thing.
It's true, he did do another bad food thing. God, the condiments with udders.
There was also a discussion over who was the most 360 era protagonist.
Xbox 360?
Yes. So I said
a guy that turns around all the way.
Yeah, I was curious, like who rotates the most?
A guy who does a spin.
No. The most shaved head, bald white man from the Xbox 360 era. Other candidates were the guy from Prototype.
I was gonna say Prototype dude, whose name I don't know.
Alex Mercer.
Alex Mercer, right?
Borgmaster said the reboot DMC Dante.
Oh,
That's a
ew,
good pick.
Cursed.
Good pick.
And you said Cole
I said
Infamous?
Cole Infamous.
Cole, that's not a real. You made that up. That's not a
Well,
real name.
his name is Cole, and he's the protagonist of Infamous.
Okay, I thought he was literally Cole last name.
And
Infamous.
in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, everyone's favorite platform fighter, there is both Cole and Evil Cole.
Isn't that just the guy from? Isn't that just Alex Mercer? Evil Cole? Same fucking guy, man.
Basically. His lightning is red.
Is
They look the
Marcus
damn same.
Phoenix too distinct for this?
Yes, Marcus
Yeah.
Phoenix has a personality.
I recognize him when I see him. The other guys I don't.
He says, come on!
Does say, "Oh, come on," but he is also. Is he bald canonically? He's got to do
No,
right.
he has hair underneath that bandana.
Okay, he's got the bandeezy. Okay, I did not realize he had hair. Yep, then he's out. He's disqualified. You have to have a shaved head, I think, to be the most 360 protagonist. Let's see, was there anything else? I mean, people posted about the Pokemon game, the new Pokemon game. People seem to be playing it. Braden, have you played it at all? Is that good?
Yes, I enjoy it. I have not played a Pokemon game in some time. I'm liking this one.
Excellent. Well, we might. I wouldn't put it past M to pick it at some point, so we might cover it. But yeah, that's what's going on in the Discord. Without further ado, let's get to Silent Hill fun. Silent Hill F. Jess, you as our guest, what is Silent Hill F? For those who don't know.
So it's written by the guy who did Higurashi When They Cry and Umineko and like tons and tons of visual novels that are very well received. I read somewhere that he has written more words than are in the Bible. Like that's how insane this guy is, like writing all these visual novels. But he's supposed to be very good at it, and having played this game, I believe it. But this is a Silent Hill game that takes place in Japan, which is kind of against the usual grain where it usually takes place in like vaguely Maine-ish, the Maine-ish area, Stephen King land, basically. But no, it's in Japan. It is in the 1960s, placing this Silent Hill game very firmly as the first one in the timeline, technically, even though it's the most recent one made. And yeah, it's about a girl named Hinako who has is having a bad time, I guess is the the long and short of it. And it's about feminism, honestly, as Silent Hill has often been about like girl shit, which is why there's so many girls in the fandom, in my opinion. But yeah, it's a very cool take on Silent Hill that still feels like Silent Hill, even though it's taking place on the other side of the planet. Exciting.
So you've got the fog, you've got the monsters. It is taking place in Ebisugaoka, which is that a real town? I did not actually.
No.
Look
I'm
that
going
up.
to say no.
Yeah, it is a fictional town in the mountains of Japan with some folklore going on in terms of why the town was founded, what's going on with the town, what is its local deity. Yeah, the game basically starts with Hinako running away from home. And then as soon as she goes outside, oops, Silent Hill's happening.
Basically.
Her town is abandoned. It's full of, at first, just fog, and it gets progressively more spooky and messity-upped as she goes along. And it also has kind of an otherworld situation going on, but it's pretty distinct from other Silent Hill otherworlds. So I feel like we will definitely go over that. As the resident expert in Silent Hill, Jess, is this the youngest protagonist we've had in a Silent Hill game?
Do they say exactly how old she is at any point?
They
I think
don't.
she's about to graduate.
Yeah, I think she might be like exactly the same age as Heather Mason because she's 17.
Okay.
So if she's about to graduate, she might be also 17. I'm not super sure, and I don't know if they ever like really write down in stone like exactly how old she is.
Okay. Because as I was playing through this game, it's got various sections. You know, you start out, you're kind of getting your bearings. It's a lot of high school stuff. You meet friends and stuff. And then it kind of expands from there. I was thinking, I don't remember playing a Silent Hill game that spent as much time focusing on the protagonist's life in school.
Silent Hill Shattered Memories.
Okay, Shattered Memories does.
Yeah, you're playing Harry, but not really, because it's Cheryl's, all of her baggage the entire time.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
just have not played enough Shattered Memory, or I have not played Shattered Memories, so I wasn't sure if this has
You
been
don't
done
need
before.
to. Shattered Memories is not greatly written, and I'm not going to go into all that bag of worms.
No, that is fine. I am not. It was the first time I had seen like, oh, we're really focusing on who likes who at school, and that was something I was not familiar with in this setting. So
Yeah,
I
I
wasn't
mean,
sure
like-
it was
playing
perfect.
Persona for like a hot minute until it switched.
I mean, like, yeah. So Silent Hill Shattered Memories has like a whole like school section that's all about Cheryl's high school trauma and stuff like that. The entire game is about her various traumas, basically. Like this game, but this one's better. And like Heather's a teen, but her friends and her social life does not come into play in the game. And also, Silent Hill: The Short Message is a lot about high school drama stuff, which is why a lot of people didn't like it.
So one of the other things that is really different about this game versus some of the other Silent Hills, I'd say, is the combat system. For one thing, it's in Japan, so there's no guns.
It's also like 1960s, so it would be like even the gun culture in America was not as insane as it is today. So in the 1960s,
It would have been a very different loadout, even if they chose to
Yeah.
have guns. But they don't. So it is all up close combat. Braden, how would you describe the combat in this game?
I would call this game quasi Souls combat because you got a stamina bar, you got to dodge. You can hold the left trigger to enter a focus mode. Sometimes enemies will telegraph their attacks. They'll kind of waver a little bit, and you can do a perfect counter. And if you are in focus, that window is much bigger. And you can also charge up a heavy attack while you are in focus mode. She does like a big old baseball swing with her pipe or whatever. I would call this combat intentionally clunky because you are a Japanese schoolgirl beating mannequins to death with baseball bats
Mhm.
in true Silent Hill fashion. I think it is too frequent for the amount of depth in said combat.
Yeah,
So,
similar to the Silent Hill remake, the Silent Hill 2 remake. I feel like there should be like 30% less monsters. I don't think we needed this many.
I agree, and that is definitely one of my takeaways. One of the first choice you make in the game is difficulty. You can choose between story mode, hard mode, and for puzzles, can you pick Lost in the Fog from the start?
I think so.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. For
think so.
puzzles, you can pick the hardest difficulty of puzzles too. For combat, it's story mode or hard mode. And the game describes them as story mode is for people focused on the story who want to have an easy time. And then hard mode is if you're familiar with survival horror, this is the difficulty for you.
I don't think it was described. Story mode was described that way. It said something like for those who want a classic Silent Hill experience.
Was it I thought it was a classic Silent Hill story experience. Like they skewed it less about the action in that, but I will pull up the actual description just to be accurate.
Yeah, because then it's just straight up lying because story mode is fucking. It's hard. Also, it's bullshit. Like my big complaint about this game is that the combat is too frequent and too goddamn hard.
It's
Yeah,
definitely
let me
too
see.
frequent.
You get messed up if you do a wrong dodge once. You can lose more than half of your health immediately. I beat the game on hard combat difficulty. I would not recommend people do that
No,
because enemies are very spongy.
that's really the only difference is you do less damage to them and they do more damage to you, and that doesn't make a compelling difficulty change mode for me. I feel like if there is a different difficulties, they should have like maybe the AI acts a little differently or more clever, or enemies are more likely to gang up on you versus take you on like one by one or something like that. Or there's less enemies in one mode than another. And like I think there are more enemies in hard mode also, but it's just like it just feels like a cheap way to have a difficulty difference where it's just like they have more health. Whatever. Bleh.
So the story mode, it says weaker enemies and more resources. The traditional Silent Hill difficulty for story-focused players. And that for story-focused players part was what made me think, oh, this is like it's an easy mode, right? It's like some games.
The traditional Silent Hill experience is what I focused on. I was like, oh, okay, so it's like decently hard, and you don't want to, and the combat's annoying, and you don't want to do it ideally.
I focused too much on the wrong part of the sentence. And then
it's weird that they wrote it that way, though.
Yeah, and the hard mode is like for those familiar with survival horror. And I was like, okay, I played a lot of these games at this point. I feel like I'm pretty familiar with it. And yeah, the difficulty really is there's fewer healing items around. If you take hits, they hurt way more. And the parry system in this game, the window for parrying seems to be the same between story mode and hard mode now that I've played on both. But I feel parrying is way more essential if you're playing on hard mode than it is in story mode, just because when you successfully parry an enemy, like what happens is the enemy will like wind up for a big attack and they'll strike a pose, and then some like how would you even describe the visual effect?
They have like a silhouette that wavers around them.
I would call it a chromatic aberration.
Yeah, they have a chromatic aberration for a second, and if you hit the heavy attack button while they're doing that, you will counterattack them. Knock them, they'll stun for a few seconds, and you get the free heavy hit, and then you just get to wail on them for a second or two, which means you're in no danger of being attacked. A lot of the enemies in this game have weird stuttery patterns, which is another. I mean, it's good for just survival horror creepiness, but it's also a very soulsy, like, oh, these are big long combat attack strings with pauses in the middle. So if you're running up to enemies who are live, it could do something weird. Like the first enemy you encounter are these mannequin, almost like Barbie doll women with knives. And they will just like stab at you sideways if you get up close to them. If you come at them from the front, they will kind of do these long, ponderous attacks. But if you start swinging at them, they will just start swinging back at you. Which is super dangerous on hard mode. Like you can only take like 2 or 3 hits and you will die. So I found that I just in hard mode had to parry a lot. And the parrying in this game, like some games have a parry where you press a block at the right time. Some games have a parry where you press attack at the right time. It varies from game to game what triggers a parry. This game, it's hit heavy attack. So if you miss, you are swinging your biggest, longest, slowest attack at the enemy right when they are swinging their biggest, strongest, heaviest attack at you. Which usually means you just die, I found. If you screw up a parry, you die or you have to use a healing item immediately.
You get hit.
You can't like dodge out of like anything, basically. You like have to commit to the jump like it's fucking Ghosts and Goblins or something. And I found that frustrating because it's like, I want the option of at least being able to react a second time to if I fuck up the first reaction. But no, it's like you've hit the button, you're here, and you're getting hit. Sorry.
Yeah, you do not get to cancel out of most animations, and it keeps track of many of your button presses. So there were definitely times when I pressed heavy and then pressed heavy again because I like pressing buttons. It feels good to press buttons. And that just means I queued up 2 heavy attacks. And she is going to do both of them. Same thing with dodging. Like if I felt like I really needed to dodge, I'd press dodge twice. Yeah, it'll spend a lot of your stamina to do that. Eventually, you will get tools, I think, to offset some of the downsides and the drawbacks. But again, I would reiterate, do not play this on hard mode to start unless you want to have a much slower time. Like it took me so much longer to get like a third of the way through the game than it did for me to get the last 2/3 once I bumped the difficulty down.
Yeah.
It's
And like
not
you
super
get
pleasant.
you get these items that, yeah, like you said, combat some of the downsides of various aspects of the combat, these omamori things, but I've heard that you kind of don't start getting good ones until like subsequent runs, like really good ones. And you only have a limit of 3 slots on the first run, and you open additional slots on later runs. So it's like the first run in general is going to be your hardest run, whether you're playing on story mode or hard mode.
For sure. Yeah, the
Yeah.
Omomoris, like, and to get more Omomoris and to unlock more slots, it costs a currency. So there's a couple of other things here, like there's weapon durability. You're going to be getting weapons, and in some circumstances, the weapons will have durability and they will go down as you use them more. Most of the time, that is the case. And then you also get items that can be used as healing items or stamina items or whatever. Or you can offer them up to get more faith, which is like a currency system. Pete, were you like ever feeling like your weapons were under pressure?
As in
Or
like the durability of my weapons?
like they'd break? Like, did you ever feel like, oh no, I'm gonna run out of weapons, or oh no, I this battle, I really want to save this weapon, so
No.
I better swap to something else.
Yeah, I found myself tearing through steel pipes. This whole town is a plumber's paradise. It's just littered with steel pipes left and right. So I mean, I broke down those. I think there weren't too many boss fights where I didn't have something better to hop swap to, especially after I got like the sledgehammer and some other stuff that would stick around for a while.
Okay, so you never felt like, oh, I'm gonna run out of weapons.
No, my main thought was like, okay, how many steel pipes do I have, and how quickly
Hmm.
can I bash them? I mean, I did a lot of
Were
running
you
by enemies.
were you playing on story or hard?
I wasn't playing on hard.
Okay.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
was
I also
playing on
felt that
hard.
I also
wouldn't
felt that
do that
like
to myself.
on yeah, right. On story mode, I feel like there is a reasonable amount of weapons and healing stuff. Like I was swimming in healing stuff for the most part, honestly. But it's just that they stack so few on top of each other that was kind of the limiter there, the survival horror limiter. Instead of not having them aplenty about you, it was just like, okay, there's a shitload, but I can't carry them all.
Yeah. I you can only carry 3, so I definitely had times where I was like, do I need the second steel pipe or do I want a kitchen knife? Or, do I want my third steel pipe or a crowbar? And those choices happened. They also give you toolkits that can up the durability of your weapons. But it was interesting. They did break enough for me to feel like, oh, I have to use this weapon because it's the only thing I have left, or I've got a low durability weapon I'm comfortable with. Maybe I'll use this high durability one I just got instead, so it doesn't break. The usable items, Braden, did you find yourself offering up foodstuffs to the gods or eating them?
So, I would absolutely get to a point where it's like, okay, my inventory is full, so I'm just going to start offering some of these consumables up. But around, let's say by the end of the game, it was a very different situation where I was like, nope, I'm eating all of these candies. I'm popping so many pills, which
We'll get
turns
to.
out there are reasons why you might not want to do that. And yep, there were definitely a couple of times where it's like, oh, I'm running out of good weapons because these knives, they break too quickly.
Mm-hmm.
With
They
a
kick
knife,
ass, but
with a knife, I can kill one of those mannequins with a single focus attack. The problem is the knife breaks or I run out of sanity.
Yeah, so that is a thing that you on hard. That is one other difference. So it's not just that they deal more damage, enemies deal more damage, and you deal less. The sanity mechanic changes when you're in hard. Normally, on story mode, when you go to a save point, your sanity just gets filled. On hard mode, the faith that you get for offering up consumable items at the save point, you can spend that to restore your sanity. So your sanity, if you're not restoring it with healing items or at the save points, it's not getting healed up to beyond a certain threshold.
that's so rude. That's so mean.
Oh yeah, it's super rude because it is the limiter of your focus attacks. So if you're too insane, I guess, you can't use focus attacks. The other thing is sanity is a buffer for certain types of attacks that only deal sanity damage. So it's usually like things crying or getting grabbed will also deal sanity damage. That'll lower your ability to use your focus meter, and then once your sanity's gone, those attacks just deal health damage. Which in story mode, that never happened to me. I never had my sanity go down to 0. Most of the things that do sanity damage do less of it, and anytime you touch a save point, your sanity gets fully healed. But there is a definite pressure on your consumable items when you're on hard mode, because it's the only way to get sanity back. The only things that restore sanity are your pills and then a bunch of consumables, like a delicious Ramune soda will restore your sanity, which is kind of fun.
Just like in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I found that on story mode, I was offering up every single consumable I had to the gods so that I could unlock more permanent buffs. Because once you get further into the game, you get these Emmas that you can pray for upgrading your health, your sanity, and your stamina, or you could get an extra Omamori slot. Which that's the best one. You want to do that as much as you can because the Omamoris, some of them will just boost your sanity or your health or your stamina. Or they could do things like make it so every time you kill an enemy, you heal, and you have less pressure on your healing items at that point. Yeah, like that's super cool. Did Jess, did you enjoy the Omamori system at all?
I did. Although like I noticed that you could only have 3 and I was like, "Oh man, clearly there's space and you're going to unlock more on subsequent playthroughs, but come on. Like it's just right there in front of me. I know you're limiting me." But yeah, I thought they were really cool. I love the designs of them. They're gorgeous, like embroidered trinkets of all sorts of different animals, and I like all the different various effects. And it seems like you could like maybe find interesting combinations that could kind of like synergize with each other a little bit. But it does feel like the first playthrough you're not getting like those types of ones that are like the real good ones. But I'm interested to see what kind of hijinks you can get up to on subsequent playthroughs with those.
Yeah, I started a second playthrough, and definitely you get a lot more freedom to play around when you've got some to start and when you have multiple slots. You can get into like there's some Omomoris that make your weapons deal more damage when you're high on when they are high durability, and that's easy to keep up with at the beginning of the game. So you just deal a lot of damage really early. It seems like there's entire play styles that you might be able to unlock, which is kind of cool. It's a shame that it's playthrough 2, so you have to be like 10 hours in before you really get that freedom.
I feel like that's something that this game needs an easy mode. Like,
yeah,
honestly, really, really bad. It needs an easier mode. I saw that the voice actress / mocap actress for Hinako was playing this game, and she's like not a gamer, and she didn't know what any buttons do. She has no instinct. She doesn't know how to control the camera, and it's just like, how the hell is she gonna get through like the first hour of this game? Like, this is so user unfriendly.
For sure. It is. Is this the most difficult Silent Hill, you think, just to play?
Yeah. By far. Just as a default difficulty, I would say absolutely yes.
Yeah, it's souls pilled in a way that I think it lowers the accessibility a little bit, but thankfully the story is strong enough that I feel like if you can get through the difficulty, and I think most of our listeners would be able to, but it is noticeable. Like Silent Hill 2 remake default difficulty, it wasn't too bad, and I feel like there's
totally normal. Yeah,
a totally normal action game. And also I feel like in Silent Hill 2 you can kind of figure out ways to attack certain enemies that make the game significantly easier. Like once you realize you can shoot an enemy in the kneecap and it will take a knee and then you can finish it in like one hit, that wombo combo gets you through a lot of the game without having to worry about taking a lot of damage. In this game, you're just going to be doing Samurai Showdown combat with every enemy you come across. Like there's not a shortcut really. You can do the focus attack stuff, and the focus attack stuff will work. But it's not the same, right? There's risk. You're going up on an enemy, you're getting up close, and they can attack you back. Whereas the wombo combos in other games, if you just had enough guns with enough ammo, you could just mow down most things from range and be completely safe. And this game doesn't offer that. And it's an interesting choice. I didn't always enjoy the tension, but I see what they were going for.
Yeah, I wish that I kind of wish that this game had not like a stealth mechanic, but like I wish I could crouch a little, just feel safer, like trying to sneak around some of these guys, because sometimes it's like you don't want to fight these dudes, but like given that you have stamina, you can't run infinitely like you can in basically every other Silent Hill game. You can just, juke these guys and wiggle away from them very easily, and they give up chasing you pretty easily. This game, like, they fucking give chase a decent amount of the time. There's certain guys that will never stop chasing you, and you have to deal with them. And it just kind of felt like my gameplay style was a little limited to like you just have to fight most of these guys. Like you don't have too much of a chance of running away from them because as you're running, you're going to aggro some other guy, and then you're going to have two problems chasing you, perhaps.
And
So
then the
I found that
two-
to be a little limiting.
The game doesn't really give you crowd control tools, right? Like you don't have a
No.
gun to take out one enemy from afar as you're, circling around the other. You have to engage both of them, and they will both walk into melee range.
Yeah, they don't take turns. No.
No, they don't. And it's not like you have a grenade or something that hits a large, wide area.
There's actually a mod that makes it so that it changes their AI so that they do take turns, like a game with like, worse AI.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, oh, thank God. That sounds like a breeze. Thank goodness.
Yeah, for sure. Pete, did you have any trouble with like swinging pipes or weapons in the narrow corridors? Because these are Japanese homes. A lot of times you're fighting in or hallways. Do you have any issues?
I mean, I was generally annoyed by the combat a lot. That was sort of maybe the least of my concerns, just because it didn't happen all the time. I will say that, like on the subject of difficulty, I found myself significantly less infuriated by the puzzles in this game than I did. Like, it felt like Silent Hill 2 was a lot of just like, oh, did you pick up that obscure thing at that one time? That's good. You're going to need it now. And this was at least a little bit less of that.
What level did you play on for puzzle?
I don't even remember that. I doubt I played on the hardest one. Lost in the Fog seemed like a terrible title.
Yeah,
It was either hard or easy. Those are,
I played
story
hard.
or hard are the two
Story
options.
I played a hard puzzle difficulty, and I think there was only 2, like capital P puzzles that I liked in this game. The puzzles were a pretty big whiff for me.
Yeah, similar for me.
The Scarecrow puzzle, I think, is something everyone has a problem with.
I feel like it's either you intuit it immediately, and you're just good at intuiting that kind of thing, or you're just like, you're fucked, and you just have to brute force this thing. And that felt like the basic essence of a lot of these puzzles. It's like, if you don't intuit correctly what it wants from you, pretty much, pretty soon on, you're going to be stuck in your way of thinking, and there's no feedback telling you to try something different. Like, there's no other way to interpret things. Because, like, some of them, they'll just give you one sentence, and that's what you're supposed to be doing. And it's like, okay, so I can't, like, check my work. I can't go through these steps and figure out, like, maybe that step was wrong. Maybe I change it to something else. It's like, no, did you understand that sentence? Because that's all you're getting. And it's like, that's not a puzzle, really. That's like, do you know what the developer meant by this obtuse phrase? And there were other ones where it's just like, okay, this one is telling more of a story, and you can surmise based on the steps of the story what you're supposed to be putting into this door or whatever. Like, I felt like a lot of the puzzles didn't have that Silent Hill, like, narrative style riddle type puzzle format.
Yeah.
And, like, I missed that. The ones that were good were a little bit more like that.
I agree. And another thing with the puzzles is that this game, it's very much set in Japan. So some of the cultural touchstones that they're going for the puzzles, I don't know how many people would just know off the top of their head what some of the things that they're referencing are or look like. Like, for example, I played on Lost in the Fog. Just, to start over, I'm on New Game Plus. And one of the puzzles references different plants that are on these items in front of you. And some of them are bamboo. Okay, got that one. Plum, kudzu, chrysanthemum, and I forget what the last one is. But some of those plants, I just don't know off the top of my head what they look like.
Yeah.
They're not common here in the United States. So there's a decent number of times where I'm like, is this a translation thing or a cultural touchstone that if I was Japanese, I would just know? It would be a really easy reference. But some of the difficulty is coming from just my cultural ignorance.
I mean, like, that's also actually kind of classic Silent Hill, because the very hard puzzle difficulties of other Silent Hill games do bullshit like reference Shakespeare. And it's like, and the Canterbury Tales. And it's like, oh, you don't know what that is? Too bad.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
I-
They're not good puzzles. They're mean.
I did find myself surprised by the grievance origami. Not that like you need to really know that much about the tradition, but just the fact that like it's a thing that you just write mean stuff, fold it into a crane, and then like leave it around for somebody to find. Just
It
seems odd.
reminded me of grammar school because we had the little like Chinese fortune teller origami things
The little
got
like
popular.
fold.
The little
Yeah.
foldy ones where you got numbers or whatever on it, and you
Mhm.
go backy forthy, and you have like little fortunes on the inside that you write. Those got banned from our school because people were writing mean things in them. So I was like, yes, this is a different cultural thing, but also, wow, that basically same thing happened to me in a total on the other side of the planet. That's hilarious.
Teens
People
are just
love
dicks everywhere in the world.
Yeah, with
Kids are-
origami specifically.
exactly. People love writing mean things in paper and folding it up. Yeah, it's definitely there were other things like beyond the puzzles where I felt the cultural gap was a little bit more. I mean, more than in other Silent Hills for sure. Just because, at least for me, because the stuff written on the walls is in Japanese. There's kanji everywhere. There's not a lot of ability to walk up to things and get a translation if you want. So I wasn't sure how much of like the horror or the context I was missing sometimes, because I can read katakana and hiragana and I can read some kanji, but I can't read everything. And it was noticeable in some places, especially when you go to like the shrine levels. There's more kanji written around, and I couldn't read it. So it's probably not that big a deal. I'm sure if you played through Silent Hill 2 and you couldn't read English, like it's a lot of, I'm sure it's mostly fluff, or set dressing. But it is notable when you see something written in blood and you can't read it.
Yeah.
And there was a good amount of that as you got further in the game. Yeah, so the puzzles, I agree that it not necessarily the strongest suit of this game, but the strongest suit of this game I think is the story and the writing overall, and that's kind of what redeems the whole thing. So let's turn now to the section where there will be spoilers for sure for Silent Hill F, but specifically just the first playthrough. I don't think any of us have finished a second. Have you finished a second, or have you just in the middle of one?
I barely started my second playthrough.
Yeah, so we will be resigning the spoilers to the first playthrough, and I'm pretty sure, don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure if you played through Silent Hill F, your first playthrough, you're going to get one ending, in all likelihood. I don't think you can get another one.
In extreme likelihood.
Almost certain you got the same ending we did. So to start the game, we get Hinako running away from home. Was there any initial inklings of what was going on when you first exited the home, Braden? Did you feel like you had an idea of where this thing was going?
Yeah, you can look at her notebook, which kind of conveys her state of mind, and will also give you like information about her relationship with these characters, and it's pretty obvious immediately. Hinako, she got beef with her parents, and she has a group of 3 friends who she also maybe has beef with, but it's not entirely clear why she's running away from her folks.
Yeah, for sure.
All you know is she hates her mom, she hates her dad, she likes her friends. Her friends maybe don't like her.
Yeah, it's
Except
definitely like
for
an
Shu.
abusive household, though.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
very clearly. And like if you read the the journal, like she just straight up says she hates her dad and he's abusive and he yells all the time and throws things and beats up mom, and she also hates her mom for like putting up with that shit. And it's like, so you immediately know that like, oh, this is some painful stuff she's going through, and oh no, it's going to get worse, isn't it?
Yep, for sure. And she's running through town just to kind of like meet her friends. And she heads to what is like a local candy shop, basically.
It's like a
to meet
general store.
Yeah, she meets her friend Sakuko, who lives right near the general store, and then her other friends are Shu and Rinko. Unfortunately, when she gets to the candy shop, Silent Hill stuff pops off. There's no monsters until you get there, but as soon as you get there, Monster Town. How does the monstrosity, there's a very clear visual iconography here for the monstrous stuff that's chasing you around. Jess, how would you describe when the red goo and all that stuff?
Girl shit. Woo! I love it. But yeah, it's like the really cool, the red isn't blood. It's like this flowery but also fleshy, mashup situation, and it's very menstrual feeling, and it's very womb but it's also got this pretty aspect to it, and it's oh man, she clearly has a lot of gender beef, and she resents how much she has to be squirreled into a very specific gendered role in her life, and there's no other options. You have to be, if you're a woman, you have to get married, you have to have kids, you have to run a household, you have to have no prospects other than that. That is your purpose in life. And how corrupting and suffocating that is to keep up with those feminine standards, is how I kind of interpreted the general vibe of the otherworld corruption taking over the town.
Yeah, for sure. So there's that flesh. There's also red spider lilies just pop out of things and bloom. It's a blooming red flower that blooms all over
what that
around.
could be a metaphor for.
No idea. But Sakuko gets iced immediately. She gets caught by this fog monster, and so a bunch of spider lilies just start growing out of her.
They got the lotus seed pod sort of creepy. There's that specific phobia of tiny clusters of things. So if you have that, don't play this game. It's really focused on that specific horrific aesthetic of body horror.
For sure.
Yeah, it's all over the place.
It's all over the place. Don't get caught. If you have that specific problem, don't ever get caught by the fog monster, because it's really bad when you do. But yeah, it's a really cool thing seeing these swaths of red kind of streak over her town. And you can go back to the sections that have been touched by this corruption, and they're all just covered in these flowers and kind of fleshy masses. And then we start seeing the enemies from this point on. The first enemy that we run into is a naked woman who's kind of a doll, with a face that can fall off.
Yeah.
It's pretty classic Silent Hill.
That's good shit.
Beating mannequins with pipes, a Silent Hill staple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is a game. Many of the enemies are female coded, I would say. A lot of the early ones, at least.
Most of them.
Yep, it's Silent Hill.
Some of them are male coded.
Yeah, those ones are interesting.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a very. I feel like if this game were written more poorly, these monster designs would be laughably political cartoon, too on the nose stupid.
I was gonna say one's just a pile of wounds.
Yeah, one's just a fucking big testicle, basically, that licks its fingers before it tries to grab you and lick you. It's wonder what that means. But it's because the writing is so good. If these guys showed up in Silent Hill Homecoming, I'd be wow, this is fucking dumb and crass. It's obvious. But I don't know, for some reason I give it a pass here.
I agree. I think that the designs work because the storytelling around Hinako is so well done, for sure. So we see these first streaks. I think that the game makes pretty clear early on that gender stuff is going on, but it spends a lot of the beginning of the game kind of focusing on Hinako's friends and their lives. So you first need to go find Rinko. Shu, Rinko, and Sakuko gets iced immediately. And so Shu, who calls Hinako partner, Aibo, he grabs a baseball bat and says, okay, let's go find Rinko. Let's go to her house. Let's go across town. And he leaves, basically. You are constantly meeting up with Shu and then getting separated from Shu. Which I think, they're Hinako being close to her friends and then feeling incredibly isolated from her friends also seems like a theme. that's running
Yeah.
through the game. Especially with Shu. I would say Shu is the only one of her friends that it seems like she has a truly magnanimous relationship with, right?
I find that suspicious, honestly. Like, it's a little too nice of a friendship. What's he up to? Like, because
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
else is like so awful around her. It's like I
Shu is
don't
generally
trust
suspicious.
this. I don't
He's a
trust
nice
this because it's
guy.
nice. Yeah, he's like a TM, nice guy. What's this mean?
That's a good point.
He's just giving her this headache medicine. He wants to be a pharmacist.
Yeah, so the headache medicine. It turns
That'll
out
come into play later.
it might. Hinako has tension headaches, and her friend Shu, his parents are the local town herbal medicine pharmacists, and so he cooks her up some red capsules that you can find all over town, and they are kind of your default healing item. They heal your health and your sanity.
And they stack forever, unlike every other healing item in the game.
Yeah, because he gives you a pack, so you can carry them around. Yeah, like it is interesting that you've got this one healing item that's very effective, takes up no space in your inventory, and heals everything that needs healing. Very convenient.
Suspicious.
Suspicious. How would you describe Hinako's relationship with Rinko, Jess?
Troubled. Just basically, first playthrough wise, at least. I don't know if this is going to become more nuanced the more you replay this game and get more context with these characters. But basically, Rinko seems like they used to be like pretty good chums, but the more you learn about their relationship, the more it seems like she was a fake friend maybe the entire time. And she really, really disdains Hinako's relationship with Shu. And also, like, very crab bucket mentality with, like, gender presentation. It's kind of like, I have to, act like a girl. Why can't you do it? How come you get to hang out with the boy I like and you don't even act like a woman? I act like a woman, and like very like jealous and spiteful sort of person. And the whole time we were playing, it's just like, why are you guys even friends? Like, do you even like each other? Like, what's going on here? So I'm really interested to see like the subsequent playthroughs how that relationship either used to be or is more truthfully like. Maybe Silent Hill is, warping this shit to be way overblown, and not, as grounded or as nuanced as it actually is. But I don't know. She seems pretty awful.
Yeah,
It's
it's
terrible.
yeah. Pete, did you have any thoughts
Oh,
on
no, I was
Rinko?
going to agree completely. I was playing the whole maybe first call it hour of this game, and just thinking like, is Silent Hill like it opens pretty heavy with the situation with the parents. Obviously, there's a whole lot of tension there, but then we shift into this like Degrassi teen drama for a while. I'm just like, if I'm gonna have to play this for 10 hours, I'm not doing it. Like, if this is what the arc is, I'm gonna be furious. Luckily, it's not. Rinko is very off-putting at the beginning.
Yeah, that was my arc as well. Like I was initially super intrigued by the setting. Then when it became okay, Rinko has a crush on Shu and she's the class president and she's like, I'm the perfect child and I've adopted Hinako and Sakuko because I'm just that magnanimous. I'm gonna hang out with these losers. But why won't these losers just let me have this boy that I want? Don't they realize that I'm good and they are both losers and I should just have what I want? And then Sakuko's just here like, I like rabbits.
And she dies immediately, so you don't get to know like what she's like.
Oh, you learned about it all through like different letters that you find written about her or by her or to her.
Can't believe they immediately killed off the canon autist on the cast.
They
Damn.
do, and that's something that you did. Everyone find that letter?
Yeah.
It is optional.
Yeah. There's a note that's like, hey, listen, your daughter, when she talks about hearing the voices of the gods, that's like just a normal thing that some young people do. And we're pretty sure she has mild autism. I don't know. She's fine. Just be nice to her. and
But
Razor
I thought back
normally.
in my day, nobody had autism and it wasn't invented yet. What?
They didn't have autism in Silent Hill until the fog monsters came in.
There's always been autism in Silent Hill.
Until they started taking the pills.
They put the lead. They put the 5G in the fog.
Yeah, but that section where they're like, yeah, Sakuko, let her have her rabbits and stop yelling at her for being scared of the dark. That's normal. Like, poor Sakuko. I wish
Give
we
her a
got more of
break.
you.
I feel like all these kids probably need a break and we just don't know the other side of their stories. You know? Like, I bet Rinko has, like, some fucked up shit going on in her personal life, and that's why she acts the way she does. Because it also, like, loops in with, like, how this guy writes stuff. I've been told. I haven't played any of his other stuff, but it's been told to me over and over again that he writes young people very, very well. And that's because he was actually trained as a social worker. He was a social worker in Japan for quite a while, and he did, like, the visual novel stuff on the side until it became his main thing. So, like, he's, like, very, very... He's seen it all. He's seen why people are in these dark places, and I think he can see it with empathy. So I have a sneaky feeling that, like, we might learn more about these kids and why they are the way they are and what kind of things they're dealing with privately that they're not able to healthily express in real life, relationships. I'm really interested.
Yeah, and it's...
Yeah. Hi, it's me, the resident person who's read both Higurashi and Dumineko.
Hey, thank you.
you're more powerful than we've ever thought.
Listen, here's the thing. If you want to experience Higurashi, the anime is a perfectly fine way of experiencing that. For Umineko, I'm to understand the anime is very bad. And given that those visual novels took me like 80 hours to read, yeah, I can see why an anime might not be able to do that in 26 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, a lot of the stuff in Ryukishi 7's stories, a lot of it is about the ways that structures and society have failed individuals, especially children. And it is more empathetic than you would think for a lot of different kinds of people. There is a sincerity to it. So it makes, even when it gets into, like, edgelord anime, these crazy anime girls are gonna stab you, it has a bit more of a backing behind it.
Yeah, that's why I'm curious if, like, the really out of pocket bitchy behavior of Rinko is, like, otherwise explained.
All they need is one arc where it's like, and then Rinko was forced to go to cram school every weekend, and it's like, oh, okay.
That's every Japanese child. What are you talking about?
Extra. She goes to the toughest cram school, and her
Aw.
parents are very high standards, and she has to be the class president, and she has to date all she has is this boy
Yeah.
she has a crush on. Why can't
That's the
that
vibe
work
I
out?
get, right? That's the vibe I get. Is like it's rooted in this jealousy of, like, how come you get to have these things and you get to be free-ish to in her perspective, to not act like a perfect princess all the time and not have the perfectest grades, and you get to hang out with this guy. Like, that's bullshit. I should have that. Fuck you.
Yep. And that is definitely, I would say, the first 2-3 hours of the game. It's mostly the Hinako, Shu, Rinko love triangle that's playing out. Sakuko's gone, unfortunately, and a lot of the sections with Sakuko, like, you find out her family is like the local priests. They're some of the last people maintaining the shrines in town. And they're like, look, it's not going to be a career for much longer. Modernity is coming in, but Sakuko wants to become a priestess, which is a cool little bit of nuance there. She also likes rabbits. But mostly it's about Shu seeing Hinako as a friend and wanting to spend a lot of time with her, and Rinko being super duper jealous about that.
I think Shu has, like, a little bit of a crush on Hinako, and Hinako just doesn't feel that way towards Shu.
Mm-hmm.
That was the vibe I got from it.
Yeah.
Felt to
And
me like there seems I agree definitely. I think Shu's got a thing for Hanako. It seems like Hanako's sort of struggling. Maybe I'm projecting forward back into the game, but struggling whether or not she even like would allow herself to feel attraction to Shu. Like she sees her parents' marriage and she's like, "This is terrible. I want no part of marriage or relationships at points." So I wonder if she doesn't like Shu at all, or if she's like, "I'm not even going down that road because I've seen the ending and I don't want any part of it."
I don't know, because of later stuff you find out about like her letters to this man elsewhere. Something's going on there. I don't know what we're gonna find out. I don't want to get like too far ahead of the podcast or anything with that though.
Yeah, and we honestly, some of this stuff is playthrough 2 and 3. I'm sure cover it
Yeah,
more
I bet.
explicitly. A lot of this stuff is hinted at in playthrough 1. But yeah, like I think that Pete, your reading at least early on is valid. You know, like until we get more evidence one way or another, it seems like Hinako is rejecting just the 1960s Japan role for women in general. Like she very explicitly is like, my mother and how my father is allowed to treat her is not okay, and I don't want that. Like if that's what marriage is, I don't want it. I want no part of it. And she says that pretty explicitly.
We also need to mention Hinako's sister Junko.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who you never see her face, but in the first scene of the game is like her interacting with her sister, but in her notebook, it's like, oh, my sister Junko, she's perfect. You know, she was always good with my parents where I wasn't, and you know, she was really supportive and great to me until she got married
And abandoned me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of abandonment issues in this game all around.
For sure. And the game, like the very first scene is a flashback of Hinako playing with a doll and like talking about marriage and relationships to a doll. So it primes you pretty early on where this thing's going. So after you get kind of the first Shu, Rinko, Sakuko introductions, you also get the first Otherworld experience in this game. How does the Otherworld project itself in this version of Silent Hill, Jess?
Well, it's all that corruption that we were talking about.
Oh, are you the dark?
Oh, you mean the other world? Oh,
Yeah, the other
right.
world.
Other world. So right, shrine stuff. Yeah, she like whenever she goes to sleep and wakes up, basically, or passes out or whatever, she wakes up in an very alternate dimension. That's very like surreal, dreamlike, dark Japanese Shinto shrine stuff themed all over the place, and it's all these Inari shrine stuffs, and it's all very like traditional vibes, and there is a strange man there with a fox mask on that is a little too helpful and a little too praising of her, and she gets like hypnotized by him over the course of her various visits to this otherworld shrine dimension, and it is very creepy.
It
He's a little
is.
too. This is something I wanted to ask about as a non-Final Fantasy, not a non-Final Fantasy expert either, but a non-Silent Hill expert. Is this guy just seemed a little too pretty, too? And
No, he's
I
like
feel like
he's
Silent Hill
Bishonen.
has trained me in the brief time to be distrustful of pretty things.
I think you're
Pete,
completely
he's
correct.
hot.
I think he's
The
idealized.
Fujos on the internet are like, he's hot though.
Mm-hmm.
How evil if hot?
Accurate, yeah.
I mean, that is all part of like the allegory going on with him, and how that ties into the mythos of like the fox stuff, how foxes would come and like steal girls to be their brides and stuff like that. And I think it's like it's a good like warning to not trust, too good to be true scenarios and people. Like, oh, this person is so beautiful and so helpful and wants the best for me and cares about me so much. And it's like sometimes you should be kind of sus about that, because it can get you into terrible situations if you just keep like getting dragged along by like he basically love bombs her and manipulates her into becoming a totally different person, literally a totally different person. And it's such a really, really good allegory for like the entire shrine stuff is like Otherworld shrine stuff is just a big allegory for like abusive relationships and how people get into them. And like the very first like really bad thing that the fox guy kind of weasels her into is like isolating her and making her get rid of her friends, which is like textbook. That is the like a big first step that men mostly do to women in bad relationships is they pit you against your existent friend group that would have objections to this relationship that might take you away from the relationship because it is like a power thing and a property sort of thing. And it's like so neat to like watch this all happen out, like play out textbook style, but in this symbolic narrative fashion. And it just gets even more grotesque and cool and awful as it goes on. And just like, oh man, fucking slam dunks, dude.
So this is something that Umineko does a lot. This is something that Umineko does a lot too. Where the way the story is being conveyed and the way the character is perceiving the story are not what is actually happening. And there's like multiple layers of metaphor going on here where it's are the Dark Shrine segments her basically going through this relationship with this guy and like her relationship of her like, so when you're in the shrine segments, she's basically selling out her friends and like saying goodbye to them, and it's like, all right, I need to, leave the person I was before, and it's none of it is meant to be taken literally. And I figured that out pretty quickly.
It's super interesting. Like the very first shrine segment, you basically wake up inside of a temple, and the door's shut, and you can't leave. And the only thing in front of you is a bunch of offerings to put on an altar. And you can tell that the offerings are messed up because one of them is a rat wrapped in a leaf. One of them is like a dead fish wrapped in some paper, and one of them is a bird with its wings clipped in a little kimono. And so there's like blood offerings here, very clearly. It doesn't look like it's been prepared in an especially respectful way either. It's grotesque. And once you assemble the proper offerings, this fox guy shows up. Well, first you start taking damage, and you have to run out of this place. And then I believe the fox guy shows up, and you stop taking damage as soon as he shows up.
Well, I want to point out, if I'm not terribly mistaken, those are specifically wedding gifts. Those are Japanese wedding type gifts, and it keeps coming up this like the wedding envelope that has the pretty little I don't know what they call it, but it's like the little like ropey type little structure that's on the top of the I don't know what to call it, on top of the envelopes. Like those are very like for special occasions like weddings. So it's like this all like super ties into her horrible anxieties about marriage and her destiny to be married, and there's no choice in it.
Yeah, and I did like read. I would need to double check this, but Hinako's name is vaguely something about sparrows or birds.
It's like little bird, yeah.
Yeah, little bird. So like whenever you die, you see a bird with a clipped wing. That's kind of the death screen. And
one
so
of the first spooky things you see in town is a dead bird underneath that truck.
Under that truck.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the offerings is a dead bird. So her having her wings clipped this independent girl having her wings clipped, maybe marriage, maybe relationships. It's pretty clear early on, and it gets more and more explicit as you go. Yeah, like there's a lot of sections in this dark temple zone where you solve a puzzle or you do something, and then all of a sudden monsters start showing up, and you start taking damage simply for existing. You don't need to go anywhere. Like if you don't run to the fox, you will die if you just hang out. And also, there's no options but to follow the fox. Literally, like there's nowhere else to go. You can't escape physically. You are taking damage as well. So every step of the way, you're coerced by the fox. The game does a very good job of making that metaphor very, very clear at multiple levels, which I thought was just super clever. Like, oh, I'm locked in this room until I complete this ritual. What's the ritual do? Oh, I don't know. But until I do it, I can't leave. And then I have to follow the fox, and he says, follow me, be careful. But also there's nowhere else to go. So I have to follow him. And then
it's also like a lot of the things that like the dangers that are in play feel like they were orchestrated by him, or like he had the power to easily stop those things and he chooses not to. Like when you have a big boss fight later on, he like swoops in like fucking tuxedo mask to save the day after you've done all the work, and he like lands the final blow and like banishes this horrible thing away. And it's like, where were you? Could you helped earlier? What the fuck, dude? And like throughout the later rituals, which are really harrowing, he like never helps. He never catches her when she falls. But like he's always there to like rouse her when she wakes up again. Like, oh sweetie, you're doing great. It's like he's not helping you at all. Like he's positioning himself in this savior role by means of like putting you in danger.
Yeah, and he also, to that point, like he's not helping you fight. He's always saying, "Oh, do you need a rest? Do you just need to stay here?" And then Hinako's always like, "No, let's keep going." He's like, "Okay then." I technically said I offered you a rest, and you didn't take it, which that's your choice, honey.
It's polite to offer, and it's polite to refuse. Okay, we're done here.
And then he will, walk around a corner and disappear.
Yeah, and another thing is like mechanically, the further in you get, you find some of these lanterns that in this section. Another big difference, other than you're in kind of this old Shinto temple structure, you have permanent weapons that do not degrade. There's a ritual knife, and then you can get a naginata? Yeah, a spear, a bladed spear. Those weapons will not degrade. Also, the Foxman has this lantern that the enemies respawn in this part of the game. If you kill them, they just go down, and then they will eventually get back up. But you find out that in certain areas, there's like these ritual flames that if you kill them near these ritual flames, they stay dead. And that's what he's carrying around all the time. He's got this blue lantern. And he just pieces out after leading you along. And you could have just been perma-killing these enemies the whole time if he just stuck around. It was so like they show you mechanically how much of a tool this guy is and how little he's helping you. Like every step of the way.
But he's beautiful, and he says things like he cares.
Yeah, and whenever you question yourself, he reinforces that you should do what he wanted you to do.
In a very sweet, nice way. Like, it's so, like, well written, it's fucking absurd.
Yeah, and I feel like, so, like, you cut back and forth between these sections, but they're really two parallel stories that are going on. Like, you will pass out and you'll wake up in this Shinto space, this abstract, dark temple space, and then you will head back to town. And each of these is happening simultaneously. And other than the fact that Hinako's outfits stay changed from area to area, you don't see any necessary overlap between the two. Like the Hinako who's experiencing the temple is, other than her school outfit getting torn in the same ways, there's no indication that the Hinako who's in the Shinto space knows about the Hinako that's going on in the town. She doesn't wake up and go, "Oh, where are my friends?" or like, "Where's Rinko?" It's like she just woke up suddenly in this other space, which will be important later. So, like, we talked about there's the school drama stuff. We talked about how the Scarecrow puzzle doesn't really Kind of sucks. Does anyone have anything to say about that scarecrow section? Because that kind of happens before we
it
get
feels
to the
like
school.
it feels like a it just feels like there's a translation barrier or something, because it's like, oh, how could you do this to me? I'm I look sad, but I'm actually happy because I'm stabbing you in the back. And then you have to find a scarecrow with like a happy face mask near another scarecrow with a knife in its back. And if you don't do that, then you have to fight a scarecrow.
Meanwhile,
It's
there's scarecrows spawning outside
yeah.
of this little area where they're set up with their cool little poses. Like, this puzzle, like, was super disappointing because I could see, like, it had good bones. Like, there was a good puzzle in there that could have been made from these elements. And, like, there was just certain things that's just like, you didn't need to be this mean about it. I understand the stake of, like, oh, if you guess the wrong scarecrow, you have to fight that scarecrow. Sure, sure, sure. That's totally reasonable, I think. But, like, while you're thinking and while you're trying to figure out, like, what this means, and you're reading your notes and comparing it to real life, there's other scarecrows not part of the puzzle that are spawning in and coming closer and going to attack you as you're trying to think this through. And it's like, man, there's no way I'm solving a puzzle under these circumstances. It's too stressful.
That's the problem, is like the puzzle is asking you to very closely examine each of these scarecrows. They also teach you very early on, some of these scarecrows are not part of the puzzle and will just attack you on sight. And so you're wary of all the scarecrows because they have knives. You don't really, I mean, I felt uncomfortable getting close to them until I realized I had to. But if you take too much time, you'll get these other scarecrows, and you could hear the scarecrow designs are maybe my favorite designs in the game, monster-wise, just because they're your character and your friends all posed as scarecrows, with sickles that they attack you with. And the scarecrows do not move if you're looking at them. They are stationary, but the second you look away from them, you can hear them moving closer to you. And you will see that they are in a different spot, in a different pose, too, when you look back, which is great design, A+.
I also love to me, the symbolism of that is like, so scarecrows are fake people. And it's like, oh, these are fake friends.
And they're also being
Nice.
posed in other poses that they're not getting to choose because they're scarecrows. And, you know, these are kids that are society is acting on them. People are acting on them. So they're kind of puppets too. And they move kind of like marionettes a little bit. It's an interesting look. But yeah, that puzzle, it demands that you look up close to these things that might attack you and do camera tricks in some cases to like look at their faces, because sometimes they're not looking forward. Sometimes they're looking down, and you can't get a camera angle to see what mask they have on. Yeah, practical problems got in the way, I feel like.
Yeah.
For this,
And it's
this
just
puzzle.
like, yeah, just take out the spawning ones that you kind of have to fight, and this would have been like 80% a better puzzle to deal with. Because, like,
I agree.
and this is something that, like, you know, I was an escape room game master for a couple years, and like I found out that like when people are stressed out, they don't take in information like at all. That's like a totally different part of your brain. Like your lizard brain is taking over, and you're not able to process new information or figure it out very well while you're panicking about something, whether it's a time limit or you just got spooked by something. Like your brain can't do both things at the same time, generally speaking. So it's like you really set this up to be way more difficult cognitively than it needs to be, as well as like maybe people are struggling with the combat in the first place. So you're doing this to them too? Jeez, mean.
Yeah. So like this is kind of the gate to getting to Rinko's house. Rinko is she shoves Hinako down the stairs pretty clearly when they meet. And that sucks.
What a hoe.
Yeah, you are set up to not trust her pretty early on.
And you have the little doll telling you not to trust her, not to trust the fox guy. Got this little friendly doll that's spooky.
This is before the school too, right?
Yes, this is like you meet up with Rinko and Shu at Rinko's house, and then you decide to go to the school.
Because the school is where Rinko's machinations really kick into high gear. She's really putting a full court press on at that point.
Yeah, what's going on at the school?
So you get to the school and you basically need to find a bunch of keys. You arrive at this empty classroom, and Shu, being the valiant white knight that he is, says, "Hanako and Rinko, you guys rest here. I'll go find the keys." And Rinko basically goes, "No, no, no, don't leave me. I can't be without you. Make Hanako do it." And it seems like she's basically like, "I'm just sick of Rinko's shit." So she's like, "Yeah, whatever. I'll go do
Yeah,
it."
whatever, dude. I'll take the monsters over her.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you wander the school, you find all the keys. There's a lot of high school drama, middle school, high school drama going on. Like you're finding out students who don't like each other. This is the spot where the shit-talking origami is all over the place.
It's implied that Rinko is saying, like, talking shit about Hinako behind her back.
You gotta break in everybody's lockers with their like dumb number codes.
Yeah.
I love that
Somebody's like,
puzzle.
"I love
That was
buses."
fun.
That was an alright puzzle.
I like that puzzle a lot, actually. That was one of the really good ones.
That's my favorite
It sounds
puzzle.
like a weird code to me, where they're like,
was
"I'm gonna
basically
make it
late.
look like the word bus."
It was leet. It was a leet speak code. I loved it.
Yeah, they were like, look, the kids, they write in math, but the math actually means letters. Ah, these kids.
Yeah. I guess they
so
couldn't have just done
real.
it like I did and be like, pick NBA players' numbers. Because then they'd be like, "Oh, pick your favorite Japanese baseball player."
Otani, obviously.
They love buses. I thought that was a really cool way to do it because I think, Jess, to your point, like a lot of kids do this sort of stuff, right? You come up with alternate ways of talking that the parents won't understand.
Yeah, it felt really authentic, even though it's from a different culture,
Yeah, it's people saying 6-7 or skibbity toilet all the time, but writing it down.
Cool.
But they didn't have internet yet.
I'm sorry, Pete. I'm too old. I'm
too old for
skibbity. I only understand YouTube poops and Flash cartoons.
But yeah, like the school, as you get further, you find the keys. It eventually becomes full of scarecrows, which is good and creepy. It also becomes full of pills as well, as you're trying to leave, which is also kind of interesting. Pills in front of the scarecrows. Anyway, there's nothing to unpack there. I think at this point you get the most explicit, I thought one of the best sections of the shrine. So it's a section where you have to complete 3 rituals. Does anyone want to unpack? So there's 3 rituals in a row. You start in a room, a section of the shrine where there's a bunch of doors that you can't open. It's kind of labyrinthine until you find the first ritual. Braden, what's the ritual and what do you think? If you can unpack it for us, what do you think's going on there?
So this is, I think, the longest gameplay sequence in the shrine. So you're doing, they're basically puzzle rooms where you are opening and closing doors, and you need to set it up in such a way that you can, go through the doors to progress. And also, this is where they introduce the blue lanterns, where you can permanently kill enemies. But, you're going through different rooms themed after each of Hinako's friends. And you start with Sakuko. And this is where you get a lot of information about her. And like, oh, she's afraid of the dark. She likes bunnies. She's a little weird. And she wants to revive her shrine. She wants to revive the town shrine. And then, you eventually reach Sakuko, and you solve a puzzle involving light and shadow that I kind of just brute forced.
Yeah, same. Bad puzzle.
Same. Super easy to brute force, though.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to brute force because
that was one of the ones that have only one sentence to describe what you're supposed to do, and there's no other way to help yourself with that.
And then, and it's like, Sakuko's like, "Oh, Hinako, you're here. Please save me from this cell." And then Hinako's you put shades on the lanterns, and you leave the room, and you leave your friend to have a freak out in the dark.
Which
And it's
This
like,
one was the most
oh, I'm
heartbreaking.
disposing of my friends. I'm moving
Yeah.
past them.
This one was the most heartbreaking because like Sakuko seems like the most innocent. Like,
Yeah, like
one.
Rinko. Yeah, plunged Rinko into lava. That's fine. Like she's terrible.
Yeah, she sucks. I don't care.
Like, yeah, she never did anything to Hinako to deserve, oh God, what's the Poe story? Cask of something or other. She didn't deserve to get walled in.
Amontillado. Yeah.
Thank you.
But yeah, like she's the one with like the most heavy abandonment issues, and like you get rid of her in the cruelest way possible, in the dark, all alone.
Did I just
Like,
call you
it's
traitor?
awful.
Do we ever find out why?
Why Sakuko
Hinako
calls her
traitor?
traitor? I'm
Yeah.
not 100% sure. But I think it might be because you find a note from her when she was like younger, I think, talking about how she made her first friend today, and it was Hinako. And I think like at some point, like they just started growing apart or something like that. And like she saw that as a huge abandonment because like Hinako promised to be friends forever. And she took that very
Okay.
literally because she's autistic as hell.
I imagined it was more Shu drama, where Shu and Hanako just started spending more time together.
I don't know. Maybe second playthrough might elucidate that a bit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, so you go through, you abandon Sakuko in the dark. Rinko, you plunge into lava, and then like each of those, I think Hinako shows a little bit of emotion on her face as the cutscenes play out.
I don't know. She felt ice cold to me.
Okay, she's ice cold for the last one for sure. I thought that one was so like they cut through like the shoe section. You're moving mostly through like his farm. It's styled like his parents' house, I guess, like a pharmacist. And then at the end, Shu is hanging from the roof, suspended by shackles on his arms and his neck. And Hinako throws a switch that removes the shackles from his arms and leaves the shackle on his neck. And then he just, dangles and chokes to death, basically. And it just cuts, like, Hinako throws the switch really fast and then just walks to the exit because it opens up before he even finishes dying. So this section coupled with the next section, if we can unpack those two in a row, the next section of the temple, like, this is her saying goodbye to her friends, I think very explicitly, and it's a ritual of 3 parts. The next ritual is another ritual of 3 parts, and this was the one I actually was thinking was next. I forgot about the abandoning your friends section.
Yeah.
But the next one is, again, very labyrinthine. It's a bunch of rooms with it's a room with a bunch of locked doors. You can progress it, but it's kind of annoying to progress with all these doors closed. And there's some big metal doors. There's some doors with crests on them. And then there's these weird, like, blood splatters on some of the walls. And you're told, okay, we're going to do 3 rituals here. Fox Boy is going to lead you along. What's the first ritual, Jess?
Yay! You get a monster arm. So, yeah, you get led to like this very pretty another shrine type area, and it's you and Fox Guy and I think 2 other like ladies who have their faces covered in fox masks also, and they very like slowly and ritualistically go through the motions of setting Hinako up to slice her fucking right arm completely off at the shoulder with a big ass saw. And she does it, no questions asked. Fox Mask is just there giving her reassuring looks, and like every time they're doing some ritual, even before this crazy one happens, she's always like looking at him for what he's doing and following him in his lead, which is just training her to continuously follow his lead on everything, up to the point of like literal self-mutilation. She cuts off her fucking entire arm, and they bring out like a big Monster Mash fucking fox arm, and they shunk that thing on like she's a toy, and she has a functional monster arm, which kicks ass, and now you get to fight with it.
Yeah, it's the best weapon in the game.
It's
I
awesome.
think it's awesome.
I did
it's
not see this
snappy.
coming.
It's so snappy when you get the fox arm.
You
Yeah,
can
like
eat
that.
the souls of the monsters now.
Yeah, now the monsters stay dead instead of getting up and chasing you around. And I love that's the part of the metaphor here that I really love the most is The level is harder. The world is more antagonistic before you are mutilating yourself and submitting to the fox.
Going along with it.
Going along with
Even
it
her-
makes you more
Even her
powerful.
sister said, like, it's easier if you just go along with it. Like marriage,
Resisting
Right. And her
etc.
sister shows up with like I think it's a Tengu mask. It's some sort of like it's like a crow mask or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has like a owl mask or something on. She's the only one that has a different mask than anybody else in
the
these.
grossest one too.
Yeah, it's gnarly looking. Ugh.
Yeah, and it also worth calling out, like the fox mask, it's like a masquerade ball mask. The fox mask that the guy who you're walking around with, the fox man, he's otherwise like a normal human in very nice robes.
And importantly, I think he can take the mask off.
Sure can.
It's also
But
the only one where it's still his eyes.
Mm-hmm. Seemingly, I don't know.
Yeah, but the women you see, they have masks sewn onto their entire face. And there's like tendrils of the mask digging into their skin. And it's grotesque. Like their masks are grotesque. His is a handsome masquerade, like tuxedo mask.
His like does kind of like at first I thought it was like grafted to him because it had those kind of tendrils, but then like he takes it off later like no problem, and he's like a normal handsome dude underneath, and you're not supposed to see it. He puts his mask back on like immediately as soon as he notices Hinako is looking that way. So I was like, oh, okay, he can take it off, but what the? Oh, I see.
I guess we did say, like, you do fight, like, a Sakuko monster earlier on, and at the end of it, the Foxman, like, has you do a ritual with some water, and he's like, oh, it's water, it'll help you calm down, and then Hinako, like, has a Silent Hill-esque break of seeing the reality differently, and it's, like, lava that you're drinking. She's like, I don't want to drink lava. And he's like, no, it's water, it's gonna make you better. Yum, yum.
And she goes along with it.
Yeah, and then this one, like, it's like, oh, you're gonna do this ritual, it's fine. And they put a bit in her mouth, and then she cuts her own arm off. Like, they can't even cut it off for her. She has to do it to herself. In the second section, you get branded with a gigantic flaming, like, log, basically.
And it's a kudzu leaf.
Yes, and that is the leaf. That kudzu leaf is what the fox guy has on his kimono as well. So you're getting branded with his signature, basically.
I wonder what that could be a metaphor for.
Pete, what cool powers do you get when you get branded?
Gino, man, don't get me started. Wait, I've actually forgotten now. Is this where you can open more doors, or is the other one where you can open even more doors?
You can go beast mode.
Oh, this is beast mode. Next one's doors. Yeah, so this one, when you siphon the souls of your enemies, you can just get super swole in your right arm.
You get like devil trigger mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically like the rage mode in God of War or devil trigger mode. You press the 2 sticks in and then you go ham. You have infinite health while this is happening. So all you lose is meter. You don't lose health. You get hey, remember earlier when I said there was no crowd control? Now there is. Remember how earlier I said there was no way to cancel out of animations? Now there is. You can parry things even if they're attacking you when you're in this mode because you can cancel out of your actions.
You can do a combo. You can do light, heavy, and she will do this big old charge swing.
Yep. You get combo moves. It plays like an action game when you activate this mode. It's very, very interesting. And then a bunch of the doors that have the kudzu crest on them will open for you now. And then the last thing
somewhere.
Yeah, Braden, what happens with the last? What's the last ritual?
The last one. As part of your as part of you joining with the Foxman. By the way, you do find notes around the Dark Shrine that are like, I will let everyone know Hinako is mine. Her body, her mind, her soul all belong to me. And you're like, I wonder what this could mean. And then you go. The third ritual is she gets basically the top part of her face cut off and replaced with a fox mask that is basically grafted to her face in a horrific fashion. And now you can see through doors that have like a fox seal on them, and it's cool because they basically melt into blood, and so you can go through those walls now.
Yeah, so this is the section of the game where I feel like the metaphor. This game, there's like Silent Hill 2 we played last year, right? That was a game about a shitty husband being punished for terrible crimes he committed, right? It's very personal. It's James is a bad guy, and Silent Hill is going to punish him for how he's a bad guy. Silent Hill F aims a lot higher. It says Japan in the 1960s and its role for women, as told by this game, is the monster, right?
Mm-hmm.
The monster is society. The monster is Hinako feels like she has to enter into marriage because society is hostile to women who are unmarried. The second she has these 3 rituals, which she's getting branded with the man's logo, she is, disfiguring herself to everyone but him. She is cutting off all of her friends and her family. The levels get easier. The gameplay gets easier when you obey, when you submit. Great gameplay as metaphor, right? Mm-hmm. And I feel like these moments were when I was like, oh, okay. Because early on, it's all that high school drama. It's all the relationship between Hinako and her friends. And then here it's like, oh, you're turning the lens so much broader than I thought you were. I thought it was going to be, maybe Hinako killed one of her friends, right? Like maybe she killed Rinko and she's being punished for it, right? That's a real Silent Hill-y sort of plot. And just correct me if I'm wrong. Like that's a lot of Silent Hill stuff is dealing with that, right? This person has done something wrong, and now the town's going to do something about it.
There's different schools of thought about exactly what the deal is with Silent Hill and its motivations and things like that. James being like guilt-ridden and needing to be punished. I think it's more about guilt than it is about like actual moralities.
Oh, for sure.
Like distinct morality that can be like objectively judged. Mm-hmm. But like, yeah, like people who have murdered people tend to pop up in these situations, especially in the Western games, because the Western games really want it to be like Silent Hill 2 so bad. Oh my god. And like the only one of the original 4 games had a protagonist that had done something bad. But like the West really loved that shit real bad, so like they really tried to like glom onto that with like Homecoming and just like, oh, your protagonist is crazy and forgot why they're crazy sort of thing. Yeah.
I feel like at least in the other games, it's a lot more aim. Like Silent Hill 1, it's Harry Mason ends up in this town and the town is haunted. Basically, right? It's a more straightforward, and there's a cult, right? Like there's the occult is afoot. Harry hasn't done anything wrong, but there's dark backstories with his daughter, et cetera, et cetera. 2, it's this guy kind of being tortured by the town. 3 is direct sequel to 1, so it's a lot more cult stuff. 4 is kind of 4's weird. Like,
Henry didn't do anything wrong.
Henry didn't do anything wrong, but he lived in the wrong apartment. Rent control was too good. But like this is a game I don't recall. I guess you said like Downpour gets close to saying something cool about society and then just decides not to.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oops.
No. It's because the main character, he's an escaped convict.
Yeah, I don't know.
But his crime was just.
Understand why he went to jail and did all that stuff. And what his dark trauma and guilt is. And it's delivered in the bluntest way possible.
So is it fair to say that this is a Silent Hill game that is one of the more socially conscious and explicitly political in a way? Like about what it's trying to do with its metaphors?
I think it's more upfront about it, for sure. I feel like, Silent Hill 1 had a lot of things to say about, like, love and family and stuff
Mhm.
like that, and it's not as, like, overarching about, like, society in the way that, this game is, and what Downpour was almost doing with the criminal justice system in America. Oops, close one. uh, but it's kind of like it feels like it's about time that a Silent Hill game did this shit. Like I feel like for ages, like people have mentioned like there should be a Silent Hill with like a gay character. Like think of how much trauma and drama like can be manifested around how poorly minorities are treated. Like there's no minority protagonist in any of these games. They're all white people. Like that's so boring. Like, there's so many more interesting like mental spaces to explore than just, some guy killed his wife, feels bad about it, you know. Uh and so I'm glad that they're doing a big wider view of something that is scary, which is like society, man, the world is a vampire.
Is this the only Silent Hill there? Shatter. Oh, there are other ones with female protagonists. I was going to say it's not the Heather in 3, and then I guess Shattered Memories has some it relates to. No,
it's kind of hard to explain without spoiling
Yeah.
the entire game,
that's fine.
but
Don't need to.
it's mostly just Heather.
Yeah, and then this is there another one that I'm missing that has a female protagonist?
I don't think so.
No, Silent Hill 0 or Origins has
Travis.
Truckerman.
There's Travis. There's Alex Shepard in Homecoming. There's Harry in Shattered Memories. Which one am I missing? Book of Memories doesn't count.
And then there's the free game that came
And
out before this
Downpour.
one.
Oh yeah, that counts. Short Message had a female protagonist.
Yeah, so short message. So it's one of the I would say it's one of the games that makes the character's identity as a woman most central to the plot and the horror. And it's interesting. So Pete, what did you think of the metaphor? Did you unpack anything different or take anything else away?
I would love to answer that question, but I want to do a different one first.
Okay.
I spent a long time last night, longer than I probably should have, trying to determine which of these rituals I thought would be the worst.
Oh yeah, great.
So I think the back branding would be the easiest. They're all terrible,
Yeah, I agree.
obviously, but I think it would
Yeah.
be the easiest. I think the face cutting off would be the most painful. But
I
the
don't
benefit
know.
you have with the face cutting off is you don't have to do it to yourself.
Yeah.
I don't know that I could cut off my own arm, but
Mhm.
I also don't know if the liquid they pour on her arm is anything besides water. If it's just water, I think that's the worst one. If it's like a numbing agent of some sort, maybe it's better than I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think that the first one's the worst one, and she does progressively like take fewer helps. Like they give her a bit to bite on for the first one, and then she just like turns it down for the subsequent rituals because she's a tough girl. She's not like those other girls.
She's proving her devotion.
Yeah.
Like how much pain she can go through. And I feel like at a certain point it becomes a sunk cost fallacy, the way that a lot of people get stuck in bad relationships because you've been in it for so long.
She's like, well, I've already cut off my arm. I mean, what's a
Yeah,
face, really?
I may as well, like I also think it's really interesting that the first ritual is self-inflicted and the subsequent ones are not self-inflicted, but she is like self-inflicting. She's continuing to go along with it, obviously, but like the first one's very literally she's doing it to herself. And I feel like that might be a commentary on like how a lot of people like can't wrap their head around why somebody would even get into this kind of relationship. You did this to yourself. Like it's very victim blaming, you know? And like maybe you like did like kind of oddly consent in a weird way, but that doesn't mean that bad things should keep happening to you, even if it was somehow your fault, which it isn't. She was led to this.
And it's also fair to say this is the first section in the Dark Shrine where there's other people, right? It's been Fox Guy and Hinako all alone. And now there are
And the
these women.
doll. And the doll.
And the doll.
The friend doll who's trying to tell her, girl, don't go in that dark basement. Girl, no.
Then there's these women with fox masks who help out with all of these rituals. So like,
and do not speak.
do not speak, but they're women. They're very clearly women. And so that's another thing where, hey, this is an affliction that is societally condoned by men and women. It is being propagated on both sides, even though it is very explicitly helping one gender and harming another.
And their faces are completely covered. The fox masks ones that the guy has on, and also all the other guys, and for some reason Hinako, they don't cover the lower part of their face. And I thought that was interesting too. It seems like all the women have the full face masks, and all the men, because you find dudes later in a later ritualistic area, they're all paired up, and the guys all have the same fox mask as fox mask guy. And it's like, oh, are those optional too? Can they take those off?
Yeah, it's very interesting. So after this section, we cut back to Silent. Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to turn to your earlier question. I don't have much about the metaphor that hasn't already been capably unpacked by my co-hosts. I do think, though, it gets very sort of muddled when we get to the final. Well, I thought it was a pretty pat twist, but the final sort of twist we're going to see, I think, is when Silent Hill F loses the thread a bit. Maybe they pick it back up in subsequent game or playthroughs, but I do think they mix their messages when we get to that.
Okay, we'll get there soon. After this section, you go to Shu's house, which I think reveals how Silent Hill F connects to Silent Hill, because like there's spooky stuff happening and the monster designs are Silent Hill-esque. Until this point, there's not an explicit connection of any kind to Silent Hill, like the location or the subsequent games. But Jess, I feel like you should probably unpack Shu's house and how it might connect to the larger Silent Hill world, because I feel like this is where we get it.
Yay! I was happy as hell to see this little like Easter eggy thing that super confirmed what was going on. But like a little before you get to Shu's house, you find some sort of botanical related note that's talking about a plant that is not originally, I think, native to the area. It was brought by some settlers from the West, and they describe it as white with oblong flowers, oblong petals, and it has like hallucinogenic properties. I'm like, oh my god, they're talking about White Claudia, which is like the big drug in Silent Hill, all the way back in Silent Hill 1. There's a whole like drug subplot that involved like this drug called PTV, which was manufactured from White Claudia, which is a perennial herb that's like native to like particular to Silent Hill. It only grows in Silent Hill. It only grows on the edges of the lake and whatnot. Train of thought, come back to me. But there's also another note a little earlier on that was in the rice field that isn't about the drugs, but it is about like the cops finding bodies and covering it up and not doing autopsies. That's very similar to Silent Hill 1 stuff too, where it's like, okay, the cops are in on something going on here. There's a cover up of some sort. But yeah, it brings up White Claudia. And then when you get to Shu's house, there's a little lake, a little pond in the backyard, and there are white flowers growing all along the edge of the pond. And I'm just like, eee! I know that guy. I'm pointing like Leonardo DiCaprio in that gif. Like, that guy. I know that guy. It's those White Claudias. And then there's also like a note that you read from Shu's diary talking about how about Hinako's headaches and how he was giving her like he was suggesting prescription medicine, but he's like, oh, I don't want her to get addicted to that stuff. Like, herbal medicine's kind of like better for you. So I'll whip something up, and like implying that, he was using the White Claudia in those tablets because they do have like pain relief capabilities, but in bigger doses, it's hallucinogenic properties and religious and spiritual properties. And that all ties in with like the whole overarching plot of there used to be a religion here that kind of has been forgotten and amalgamated with the current religion in tiny ways that are weird. And it's like, that's the same thing that happened in Silent Hill 1. So it's like there's so many parallels that are running in the background of this, even in the first playthrough, and I'm wondering how much it's going to get expounded upon in subsequent playthroughs. So yeah, that's very exciting. And like another thing, and the stuff in Silent Hill 1 that you use to like basically abort the god fetus from Alessa is a glophatus. It's like this red liquid that you can optionally get to get the good plus ending, whatever. And also in Silent Hill 3, Heather takes a pill that is red and made of a glophatus to abort the god baby in her, and then have a big scary boss fight with it. But there is some precedence in one of the games, I think it's the Silent Hill 1 play novel, that mentions that a glophatus is also manufactured from White Claudia as well. I think through a different process is my assumption, since no other herbs or plants have been brought up in other games at all. It's always just White Claudia, basically. So I'm also wondering, and this is my theory, I don't know if this happens or not. I have a vibe that Hinako might be teen pregnant, is my theory. And Shu might be also providing these, knowing that it is an abortificant, maybe. But these are
Possible.
theories and guesses.
I mean, there's a lot of monsters that have pregnant bellies, and and Hinako is not happy about it. So that makes sense. And also, the
very
pills.
Early. Oh yeah, very early, like when you first meet Shu, like it is really awkward. Like the cutscene's really awkward. They're sitting next to each other, and like, don't you have something to say? It's like, don't you have something to say? Like they're being very awkward about it. And it's like, what are they talking about? And like later on, like Junko appears to you multiple times saying like, have you made a decision? Have you decided yet? It's going to get harder the longer you wait to decide. And later on, she just straight up asks Hinako, did you kill it yet? And I'm like, dude, what if she's teen pregnant? I'm like excited, I'm like bouncing around in my chair, like, whoa, juicy, juicy trauma. What the fuck? So I don't know if it's true or not. I hope that happens, even though it's terrible.
There's definitely an implication there. I just want to say, like, White Claudia and then Aglaophatus is red. Like the pills are white and red, also. Like
Yeah.
They're combo pills in that way too. So I feel like the two iconographies here, and white and red. There's the red of the spider lilies that are following you all over the place. There's the white of the wedding gowns of things that you see all over the place. So white and red are the two dominant colors as well. So it doesn't have to be that, but it is nice and convenient that the two big drugs in Silent Hill world are white and red too. Nice thematic overlaps here.
Yeah, I'm excited to play more of it.
Yeah, so after this part, you go back to Hinako's house, and I think the section we went over with the marriage rituals happens kind of between here. Hinako's house, though, is another really cool section. So you get to her house, and it is non-Euclidean, unfortunately. The house does not match what her house is supposed to look like. It is laid out weirdly, and there are puzzles that you can't complete for some reason until you find a calendar, which lets you go to different days in this house over the course of about a year, I think, days.
I wasn't paying attention, and I should have been to the actual dates, like the year or whatever.
Yeah, it's 1961 to 1962. One of them's in March, I think. One of them's in December, and the other one I want to say is in like July. So I think it's a spring, a summer, and a winter. And here's where we find out kind of what's going on with Hinako, why Hinako hates her dad and her mom. Braden, what did Hinako's dad do?
He invested all of their family's money in a con scheme and lost all of it. And it sure does seem like maybe he is selling Hinako off in order to pay off the family's debts.
Yeah, it appears that some rich guy.
Yeah, and you get a couple scenes where a couple like flashback scenes where she is at the table with her parents and she is just laying into her dad, being like, "This is all your fault. You're a drunk. You lost all of our money." And then he's like, "How could you say this to me? I'm your father. How dare you talk to me like this?" And then the mom's like, "No, don't talk to your father like this."
And he like throws a knife at
He
her.
throws a knife at her.
Like a big ass, because he used to be like a chef, I think. He's like a big ass kitchen knife.
He was a fisherman turned chef, and
Right.
he put all of his money into a restaurant, and it went belly up. And that's why he's in super turbo debt. And yeah, this section culminates, and there's a lot of like hints throughout these rooms that stuff is not good in their house, and there's this room with a gigantic doll in it with an eye that follows you around. That's horrifying. Like great
That was
iconography
so
in this
great.
level.
That was so like Silent Hill 4. I was like, oh, it's like the big Eileen head in the hospital, but it's cooler than that.
Yeah, I hope that we get to unpack why that doll's there, because all you can do is go up to it, and Hinako says, "I should leave now."
I should leave right now, she says.
Yeah. I wonder what's going on there. I assume that there's something between Hinako and her dad, because when you meet her parents, there's kind of flashbacks to they are sitting at a table. They look normal, right? They are normal parents, but they're in a Silent Hill-esque room. Like there's a table full of food and it's all rotten, and you hear voices from people that aren't there, and her dad's acting too happy to see her. And then there's kind of flashbacks to Hinako in a different position with a knife like embedded in the floor. So I bet that it expounds on that more later. But you have to then fight her parents, as Silent Hill is wont to do. It makes you fight your parents. Pete, how would you describe the designs for the parents?
So we've seen the dad before. That's sort of a recurring monster type. He's a big blob man with a sword for the arm. I don't know if
big old cleaver arm, like a bloated.
Yeah, if this was the giant testicle monster you were referring to.
Yeah.
That's a good
not
way
exactly.
to describe it. He's a flower-covered ball.
Yeah, there was like there was two other similar monsters before. This is like the same body type as those monsters. Because there's one that was like a big taiko drum one, and there was one that didn't have any features besides being big and covered in flowers and had a knife. This one has a knife, and I think it had like a screaming mouth too, right?
It's a slightly
and
different
it's also
design.
Wearing her father's robes still.
Yeah.
Yes. That's the thing, is like it recontextualizes that earlier monster as probably being tied to the father in some way. It's got the same kind of knife arm, but it doesn't have the robe. And then the taiko drum one is in it's in the shrines. It's in the shrine section. So like we see this monster type show up in its own variant over there. But I love that it recontextualizes what I think that first battle with the giant knife arm thing is one of the scarier monsters you encounter, because you're kind of stuck in a small space with this thing that respawns.
Yeah.
And this kind of recontextualizes, oh, that monster seemed just kind of like body horror, right? It was kind of gross. I didn't get what they were going for yet. And now I'm like, oh, this is kind of her image of men in some ways, as depicted by her father. And the mom is kind of a monstrous version of her mom, who throws knives at you and just does support stuff, basically.
Yeah. Something that's interesting is, like I killed the mom first and then went after the dad, because it was just like, okay, I don't know if I can go after the dad while mom is doing all the support stuff. Turns out you can kill dad first, and it ends. You don't have to kill mom.
I did. What happens if you kill mom
I
first?
killed mom first. Dad gets pissed.
Yeah, dad gets pissed. Dad's mad. But nothing particularly different happens there. But I just think that's a good gameplay reflecting the themes right there, because she's just going along with it. Like mom's going along with it. And to clarify, the testicle monster I did bring up earlier, I was thinking of, the guy. There's two guys that have very similar body types. Of the male monsters, and it's the guy with the shackles is one of them that echolocates. And the other one has a very similar body, but his stomach is all distended. It just looks like balls, man. It just looks like crinkly.
Oh yeah, the frog
testicle
monster.
skin.
The creepy guy who licks his arms and then tries to lick your face.
Yeah, I've like nicknamed all these monsters in my head. That one's just pervert. The one with the shackles
there's the male
dad's
monster
mad.
that is aggressive and but cannot see, and it only tries to echolocate you. And if it grabs you, it just beats you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other male monster is the creepy pervert one, where if it grabs you, it just licks you with its gross tongue.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like,
Yeah, and
Mm.
that one
Men.
gets redder. It can like charge itself up, and then it will get really aggressive and really fast. But then it runs out of steam and gets really slow and lethargic afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, nothing to unpack
Hell
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
Hell
let's not
yeah.
worry about that.
Yeah. So after this, we kind of get the ultimate section in the shrine, which is a treasure room. The treasure room section I thought was really interesting because it's full of these treasures, right? Like drums and scrolls and beautiful artwork. And then if you open the wrong doors, it's just torture chambers full of battered. Like a lot of the enemies are female coded in this section of the game, and it's just those kind of female coded women like in cages, beaten up. And
I
so
didn't go into any of those rooms because my husband said like there's only fights in there. You might want to just avoid them because they're annoying, and so I didn't see that. Oh.
yeah, there are only fights in there. They're torture rooms, and they are mostly the women kind of in contraptions or cages and all beaten up. And so I took the metaphor to mean like, this is look at all this opulence that's built on the bodies of broken women.
But behind closed doors. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Behind closed doors, there's all this terrible stuff. And as you're wandering in, Hinako's like, I must have made a wrong turn. Me, just beating herself up for not knowing where to go in this labyrinth that she's been led to by her fox husband. And this ends in Hinako having kind of the second to last ritual, which is a literal exchanging of rings.
yeah. And this area, it's like a wedding party. Like there in the main room, there are a bunch of fox statues, and they're all kind of arranged together. And she's like, "Oh, I hope I didn't miss the party." She says something like that. And every time you go through that room, the foxes just are covered in more blood.
Yeah.
And there's more blood everywhere in that room.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And you walk through a procession after the ceremony. You walk through it's before or after. You walk through a procession of men who have the masquerade ball masks and women with messed up masks grafted onto their faces, and you just see that this has happened over and over and over and over again.
One of them was Junko.
Was it?
Yeah, one of them had the owl mask and was Junko.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you walk through this procession, and it shows you that this has happened, and the women are taking the brunt of it. The men look handsome and idealized. And then you cut back to Silent Hill F. The fog monster that you've been encountering has killed your parents. And now you're chasing it through town. You have to fight the pregnancy monster a bunch of times. And then you encounter the fog monster, and it kills you. It just grabs Hinako and crushes you. And then you jump back to the shrine section, and you have one more ritual to do. And Pete, what happens with that ritual? And I think this is where you probably would say the metaphor breaks down.
Yeah, this is where things sort of break down. So you find out something that I think was sort of obvious since you saw your arm in the fog monster's arms, but you are the fog monster. You get, I forget exactly what causes the transformation. Is it like a new mask or like a pill
You
or
do a
something?
ritual with the fox dude, and you offer up 2 antlers, and then all of a
That's it,
sudden
yeah.
you start transforming.
Yeah, and then you turn into the fog monster. More or less, your face melts, you grow, and you get the second arm and the whole deal. Here's my issue with that, right? So what I'm presuming this means is that they're basically like two sides of Hanako, fog monster, and the one we've been working with the whole game. And this would make sense to me as sort of like okay, here's the traditional go along to get along, just accept that this is your fate and go into this marriage, Hanako. And the rage against the world, tear down the entire town around you, fight the dying of the light, Hanako, which would make sense given some things we see later on in the game. Right? But Fog Monster Hanako kills her parents, which is the part I don't understand. Because if that's supposed to be the traditional one that's given herself over to the Fog Monster, and she would not love her parents, but at the very least, accept this decision they've made for her. I think that's where we sort of lose this metaphor.
They are thankful that she grabs them and kills them.
Is that it? Like they wanted to?
It's
die?
basically like I am. Not only am I cutting off my friends, I'm also cutting off my parents,
My family. Yeah.
Oh, that's what it is. So like
I fully
once she makes
belong
this wedding,
to the
okay,
Fox.
okay,
Yeah, like you don't belong to that family anymore. You have your own family.
gotcha. So you're cutting off everything about your former life when you go into this. All right, I take it back. That was a good reading, a reading I missed. I appreciate y'all educating me.
Yeah, that's why I think the metaphor really worked for me. Is like when you basically mirror the path. First, you're Hinako with the pipe chasing after the fog monster. Then, after the fog monster kills Hinako, and you see that it was herself, she turns back into the fox mask Hinako with the arm. And you tread that same path to go see her parents, and you become the version that crushes her parents.
And in her diary, in the journal, she talks about like, I feel like I'm fighting against another version of myself named Hinako. And so there's Hinako Shimizu, who is in the town. And then and then the Hinako in the shrine is just named Hinako because she has given up her family name.
Exactly. So Hinako Shimizu is the kid version. And this is so like all the destruction of the town that you've been seeing, and this is my reading of it, is Hinako, the one who's gonna get married, actively going through the process of destroying her memories of her friends and her family and her hometown because she's never going to go back home. She's never going to see those people again. She's never going to see her family again. So she is doing the action that society expects of her, right? You belong wholly to your husband now. That's the only family you need. His direction is all you need. And so she is actively ransacking the town. And then there's the version of herself that still is nostalgic for being a kid, still nostalgic for her friends, and wants to defend her independence, that is rebelling and actively fighting against it. So you were the monster tearing the town apart for a reason, and you are also the version that is protecting the town. It's a great, I think the metaphor really works. And like the fog monster, it's wearing a traditional wedding kimono. It's got no face. It's got the arms of the fox, which I don't think we unpacked, but there's this Inari-sama, this fox god that the town is supposed to, you see like figures of it. They all seem to at least give lip service to this god.
So it works like it works on multiple levels where she's not only being sold to, this rich guy whose name we never learn.
Nope.
We get a couple like notes here where it's like, okay, they exchanged letters. She sent him a pressed flower. And there's clearly a part of Hinako where she's like, maybe this guy's really nice. Maybe it would be easier just to, go along with my parents' wishes.
I have theories about this guy, by the way.
Yeah. Oh,
I do too.
I bet. But it's also like she is being sacrificed to the guardian deity of this town and this mountain.
Yep. Yeah. So
I also want to point out that like during that scene where the fog bride is like lifting up Hinako and is going to kill her, Junko is there, like calmly explaining that like this is for the best. That like the bride self is destroying the rebellious self. Like how sad is that? Like you killed your family, you killed your friends. The final thing you have to kill to go along with all this is like yourself.
Your sense of
you're
self.
Not you anymore. Yeah, that's so sad.
Yeah, and this is so Jess, that reading you had earlier of like maybe she's a Team Bride, like you need to kill this thing. Have you made the decision yet? It's going to be harder the
Mm.
longer you go. Like I think the other reading you can do is it's that version of herself inside,
True.
that independent version that you have to kill. And Junko's like, if you don't kill her, I will. Which is like, uh-oh. And so when you eventually, if you get the first ending that we got, Junko is like, you're still around, rebellious version? I thought you killed that version of yourself. Well, I guess I'll do it. Which leads to the pills of it all, I think. So this section keeps going. Like I thought it would just end when you fight your way back. You fight your way past the doll who's trying to tell you to find your independence again. You kill your parents. You fight yourself. Like there's a final like Dark Souls-esque boss fight against the bride version of yourself. That you do as the Hinako with the pipe. And then we get the pill stuff. Who wants to unpack what's going on with the pills in this ending? Or the ending itself? What do we think is going on?
Okay, so at the end, when you're fighting the boss, the bride demon thing, if you die, which I did, she just gets back up and she's like, I'm not gonna fucking stop. I will never give up. And it replaces all of your weapons with, you just have you have a pipe that is almost about to break, but it never does. And the only item you have in your inventory are 99 pills that now fully restore your health and sanity. And you beat up the bride, and then you are just escaping from the dark shrine as it is collapsing. There are pills everywhere. And at some point, one of the rooms is just full of pills, and it keeps flashing back and forth between the shrine and the town. And
there's
like,
monsters everywhere.
And you hear everyone's voice, and they're like, Hinako, what are you doing? And she's having a psychotic break because of the pills.
She gets smaller and the pills get bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the final cutscene, the shrine like always flashed red whenever you were taking damage until the fox showed up. In this section, it's flashing red and blue around the edges. And when you walk out, you start like hearing police radio basically saying, yeah, we found there's been another wedding massacre. We found the pipe again.
The same pills as the other location.
Yep, and they say it was a woman in a wedding kimono running around. 3 more victims. So in true Silent Hill fashion, there's been a psychotic break in this version. Hinako seems to have become some sort of wedding avenger, going to weddings, just braining people with pipes, rebelling at the very concept of marriage by hitting people with pipes.
I don't know how literal to take it.
Yeah, don't know how literal to take it. It's very thematic. I think it's a good first ending for sure. Or I shouldn't say it's good. It's an effective first ending.
Bad minus ending, I think.
Yeah. And then you could do New Game Plus, which they have new cutscenes. There's new endings that unlock. We haven't gotten that far yet.
There is a joke UFO ending again.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, there is. I am like in between. It seems like I need to decide whether I'm going to go UFO ending or another ending, but we'll see. But yeah, any other closing thoughts on Silent Hill F? Silent Hill, maybe the F is feminism. Maybe it wasn't fun.
I think, or it's Fox. Feminism, Fox.
F
fun is valid.
For matrimony, but with like an F in front of it.
Yeah.
The silent F.
Any closing thoughts on Silent Hill F?
No, that shit was dope. More of this, please.
I really like this. Just gnarly fucked up shit and metaphors.
Yeah, we're back, baby.
Gino, if I can crib your point off the Discord, everybody go read the Discord. I basically think the very beginning is the weakest part. And we're like, oh, look at all these teens and their teen drama. But like once we get into the actual like, oh, we're talking about societal social structures and how they oppress women, it hits its footing.
Well, I think like I think a lot of people are kind of allergic to like teen perspectives of when you're teen, this is your whole fucking world. This matters so much. But like as an adult, you're just like, oh, this is so cringe. I don't want to relive this stuff. Like, ugh, I hated being a kid in this sort of like dramatic situation. But I feel like it's important context because like in an effective horror narrative, you kind of have to establish normalcy a little bit before you fuck it up. And so I think that like even establishing that like the normal that was her life was stressful and terrible and she had no like refuge from like any of these terrible things. Like even her friends were not really to be trusted and were bad to her too. I think that's important context for, really going all out crazy later. I think you need that background information sort of.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where like good horror sometimes is best told out of sequence in terms of what's important. Or it's like the hardest hitting, right? Like you need to lay groundwork first. And I feel like the earlier sections work better for me having the full picture. But in the moment, experiencing it linearly the first time, I was like, when are we going to get to the hard stuff?
Nah,
And now
I was so trusting of the writer. I was like, this is here for a reason. I just know it. Like they're not wasting my time here. Like this is all important in some way. And it's important to the character and to like, empathize with her. And I feel like that was something that made a lot of people bounce off of the short message also because it's high school drama. But it's like, I don't know. It's an empathy hill that not everybody knows how to climb, I think, when it comes to that sort of topic.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it is a game that it's literally meant to be played multiple times, right? Once you have the full picture, you're going to probably experience it in that sequence, and they can layer more of the questions that we have still lingering into those sections. I think that it serves the game well as a whole. I will just reiterate, for those who want to play this, don't do the combat hard. You don't need to.
No, don't do it. They need an easier mode. Straight up, please patch in an easier mode in general.
Like you don't have to do it. Like it's a game that I think the story is the thing you're here for. The combat is serviceable, but there's too much of it, and it is way too much of the overall runtime, especially with how many unavoidable fights there are. And this is a game that probably could have been a tight 6 hours that gets padded out to 10 with combat. And if it probably, look, in my second playthrough, I'm going way faster because I'm running away from stuff and I'm just stronger.
Yeah.
Because I leveled my stuff up.
It's worth mentioning that this is this developer's first like big game.
Which is crazy, right? Oh my god.
Yeah, so Neobards have mostly been like a porting and support studio. They're based in Taiwan. And their only other like big in-house project was Resident Evil Resistance, which was that neat in concept multiplayer thing that they shipped with the RE3 remake, where it was like one person is spawning monsters and the other 4 players are trying to escape, kind of Dead by Daylight-y, but bad. And then I guess they've also worked on like the Dynasty Warriors gotcha.
Yeah, they did a Dynasty Warriors mobile game, and otherwise they've been a port house or a remaster house. Like they supported
that is wild.
They supported on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but supported like they were one studio. They were on Dead Rising Deluxe, Resident Evil Reverse, Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection, like a lot of horror game ports, and then supporting Square Enix for like Marvel's Avengers. It's weird. It's an odd oeuvre that they have put together, but they really nailed it. Similar to how Bloober Team redeemed themselves with Silent Hill Remake.
What has happened at Konami? No, I've not. Okay. I've heard it's not good because it's
how do you feel
Team. They're
about
usually not
Dead
good.
Space, but less.
Oh, you mean the Callisto Protocol?
It's better than the Callisto Protocol.
That's not hard to do, I hear.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's Bloober team is not good at their own IPs. They're not good at their own original stories, but all of a sudden they do a remake and they're brilliant at it. And then you've got Neobards over here that has never gotten a go at their own IP, and they blow it out of the water all of a sudden. That's crazy.
Is Konami somehow like a good company to work with?
What
suddenly?
happened?
What
right?
happened?
Who died?
They might just have at least someone who understands which developers to partner with.
I want to know whose really good idea it was to get Ryukishi 7 to write this. Like, I'm not familiar with his shit, but it's like, having played this, it's like, where have you been this whole time? Like, you should be writing this stuff, obviously. Like, this is a match made in heaven. I can't believe how well written this game is. This is like, story-wise, this might be my favorite Silent Hill game. And I've only played the first run of it because it's like so fucking engrossing and there's like so much meat to it. And it's just like, yeah, who at Konami died and got replaced by somebody who has fucking taste all of a sudden?
Yeah, and it's using the setting so well, and it's using the iconography so well, and the metaphors are so like consistent and well executed and
it makes me
layered.
forget how much I hate the combat and most of the puzzles. Like, that's insane.
Think about that. That's most of what you interact with is the combat.
I know!
And the
That makes no sense.
yeah, but this is a really good game. I recommend people check it out. Braden, last question for you. If people like the writing of this game, which of the author's previous games would you actually recommend?
So here's the thing: is Higurashi and Umineko, When They Cry, are both like very long visual novels because they were released episodically over time. And in general, the man, I would say the man needs an editor, which he had for this game. I would recommend people watch the Higurashi anime.
I think I will take you up on that recommendation.
Because it like the first season has some real fucking jank animation, like some the peak 2006 awkward animation. But if you like spooky mysteries in rural Japanese towns and also fucked up shit happening to children,
well, if you like,
you can tolerate.
Ooh, sign me up! I love fucked up shit happening to children.
And then Umineko's really fucking good. It's just the time commitment. But if you like layers of metaphors and weird gender stuff and meta text about how mystery stories are written, Umineko's really good. It's also 80 hours long.
Are there any hot foxes?
How do you feel about witches?
Yeah, okay. I'm good with that.
Close enough. Yeah, I can't wait for Silent Hill : layers of metaphors.
Silent Hill W for witches.
Yeah, metaphor Silent Hillio.
Silent Hill W women.
It's a me, Silent Hillio.
I think we will call it there. Thank you, Pete.
Yeah, this was a good game to talk through. A lot of layers, as I said.
It's got layers like an ogre. Thank you, Braden.
You're welcome, Gino.
Thank you, Jess.
Absolutely. Thank you. I love talking about this bullshit. So I'm always happy to be on talking about this bullshit.
You can find Jess everywhere. VoidBurger, just type it into Google, any search engine, and you will find
You know what's
things.
funny, though? I got to work on my SEO because VoidBurger is a ship name from something in Roblox right now.
Oh, you're done.
Oh, no.
I'm done. I'm cooked. I'm fucking cooked. I gotta get way more relevant very quickly. It is a crack ship. It seems like everybody's like, ew, that's an awful ship. But still, it's my name. Back off, children.
Listen, the young children, you need to get into Roblox now, Jess.
Damn it, I don't want to.
To get the children and their 6'7" and their Frina cappuccinos.
If you like bad things happening to children, Roblox is the game for you.
Fair.
Roblox is the real Silent Hill.
Yeah.
No one can hear you scream in Roblox. And you can, if you want to follow the show, you can do so, deeplistenspodcast@gmail.com. You can email us, deeplisten.libsyn.com. That's where we have our comment sections, deeplistenspodcast.bluesky.social. That is our social. And you can support the show on patreon.com/deeplistens. Pete, it is your turn to pick next.
It is.
I forgot to do that. What are you picking?
I will do that right now. I'm interested in a little experiment, Gino.
Oh, no.
I'm going to see if... No. We're going to enjoy this, trust me. Or we won't. We'll see what happens. I'm curious if I hated getting over it with Bennett Foddy because it was self-righteous nonsense or because it was annoyingly hard. We're going to find out.
Have you checked out Baby Steps yet?
I've not.
I've actually heard it's good, like plot-wise, oddly.
Okay.
So, Pete, are you saying we're playing Bennett Foddy again? Is that what you're saying?
No. We are going to play Level Devil.
Okay.
Which is supposed to be annoyingly hard as well, but in a humorous, fun way, as opposed to a self-righteous, pedantic way.
You're picking this and not Baby Steps.
I never even heard of Baby Steps prior to this moment, so no, I'm not picking.
There's a
Baby
demo.
Oh,
Go play it.
It's another
play the
Bennett
demo.
Foddy game, Pete.
No,
great.
I'm not playing that then.
It's very
No.
Australian.
Try it. Try the demo.
One day we'll try the demo. But
It will break this podcast apart, rent asunder.
okay, we are playing Unept's video game Level Devil, another game from 2025. We're doing it.
Yeah, I know.
Ooh.
I know.
Relevant.
Look at us playing multiple games from the year. Weird.
It's okay. We're playing Sweet Home.
Oh, good luck with that. All right, I will talk to y'all. I'll do it again. Till next time, listeners. Peace.